Squid Comics podcast episode. We don't know, but yeah, we're and I'm Drew.
I'm Don.
I'm Scott.
And we are the Evil Squid Comics podcast. We get together whenever the hell there's not a global pandemic.
But actually,
there is one, but we're still getting
that's
together.
That's why we decided to finally get together.
That's right. We want to spread it around. So anyway, but yeah, we're getting together, talk about comic books, movies, TV shows.
We're not even 6 feet apart.
Yes, we are,
true.
Don. Why would you
It's
say
pretty
that?
close.
We're totally social distancing.
We're social distancing. Man, you got this cool setup back in here.
I have a cool setup. Scott's like distracted.
You know those signs on Kellogg, like on the highway?
Signs on Kellogg on the highway.
Let's say, 5 minutes to the airport.
Oh yeah,
those big digital ones.
Oh yes,
Yes.
The ones in which it's like strive to do better, type things.
Today,
you laid down the race.
Today it was stay at home, save lives.
Stay at home.
And there was another one that said,
caution.
It said, social distancing saves lives.
Mm.
Oh, you bought Plunge?
I did. Did you buy Plunge?
I did, but I haven't read it.
We can talk about it. I mean, the problem is we've been like a month since podcast, and so I was reading a lot earlier, and then now I haven't read much, so I've pretty much forgotten everything.
See, I've gone the other way around because
You weren't reading anything?
I wasn't reading anything while we were remodeling the house or whatever I want to say. We laying floor, upstairs, and so we were destroying the entire upstairs and moving shit around and whatever. And that this is the funny thing that goes with that story anyway. Is it took me one weekend to move everything. It took me another weekend, to rip all the shit out. This guy comes in. It takes a day to lay this floor.
Yeah, because they know what they're
all
doing.
This crap. Yeah. And then, of course, I got to move everything back and put baseboards back up and all that other type of stuff, which takes another, freaking week for me. But
Nice.
It wasn't quite that long, but
Not quite that long.
it just takes a while, It takes time. When I figure all this stuff up, the amount of time that I spent probably just working, moving crap, removing trim, putting trim back, all this other type of stuff, probably was 5 days worth of work. And this guy laid all the floor in one day.
What am I looking at?
It's all my comic books
Okay.
at the new house.
You got them all there, huh? You got them all moved?
Yeah,
Do you do it single-handedly, all yourself?
No,
That's
he
what they
hired
were.
movers.
Yeah, I hired people.
He's
Jesus
too old to
Christ,
move
that is
that
like
many
a
comics.
freaking warehouse.
I figured it up. There were about 140 long boxes.
Nice.
Yeah.
140.
And if you figure 50 pounds a piece, that's 7,000 pounds.
I'd have moved them all for you.
Yeah. I was telling Drew, there was one guy there. He carried 3 long boxes.
At one time?
Yeah,
Holy F.
I know.
He was like, stack on another one. And then the dude was standing there. He goes, throw another one on there.
Oh my God.
Like, oh my God.
I remember when we were young and we moved him that one time, and Isaac, and was it Hugh? Was that your buddy's name?
Probably, yeah.
They were helping, and we were carrying 2 at a time. And I tried it again, like 5 years later. I'm like, I'm not carrying 2 at a time. That's insane. Why were we doing this? But
Yeah.
Isaac was a big guy, so that made sense. Why I was carrying 2 at a time, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, 1 at
I
a time.
think back in
for
my
me.
20s I could do 2 at a time, but
Yeah.
anymore?
Mhm.
Yeah, no.
But I never could do 3 at a time.
But yeah, 3. That's
Nor would
just
I want
insane.
to.
No. I think they just wanted to get done.
I'm sure they did. They get paid by the hour. I don't know what they were in the hurry for.
Oh, really? Paid by the hour?
Yeah. Well, they kept looking at more comics. They're like, I just want to be done with this.
Hey, I hear that.
It was funny. So, like, when we went over to the new house, I had some of the bookshelves set up already.
Yeah.
And some of the guys were, like, kind of into comics. And they were staring there like, oh, look. It's like Swamp Thing. They're like, he's got that. He's got this. I'm like, this is awesome. They're just, like, over all this stuff.
You have no idea, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no clue.
I agree with
But
that.
anyway.
Cool.
So, I can't believe you guys haven't jumped on the Tiger
It's not
King.
butter. I don't. Okay, so it's
Train.
it keeps popping up on Netflix. I haven't been watching Netflix. We've been watching Disney Plus because we're watching Clone Wars.
Well, you can't watch it with your kids.
I understand. And then we watched Morning Show on Apple TV Plus with Jennifer Aniston, Reese
I've
Witherspoon.
heard of it.
It wasn't bad. And then we jumped on that Mythic Quest, which was pretty cool.
Cool.
And then we finished up Fargo, the first season.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, Fargo's pretty good.
Have you watched them? You haven't watched any of them?
I just watched the first season.
Okay. How many are there? 3?
I think 4 is getting ready to come.
Oh, are they making another one?
I believe so. But anyway, yeah, I think there's only 3 right now.
Is
And
it
so we
first-
finished that, and then we have our normal stuff we watch. I don't watch as many hours of TV as you do.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything lately. I didn't have TV for like a week.
Yeah, I understand.
I
just
what was I gonna? Is
So what is
Tiger King?
Is Fargo is the first one? Does that have Billy Bob Thornton in it?
Yeah, it's the Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, that one's good. They're all good.
Pretty solid.
So Tiger King, Brian Hunter, I saw like a post on Facebook, and he talked about it. I'm like, I have to watch this. So I went home yesterday. It's a documentary. So like this guy, the guy that made the documentary, he was just doing a documentary about like it's a big cat, like people that have tigers. And he just stumbled onto this colossal just cluster F. Like, it's insane. Like, it was in one of the places was in Oklahoma. This dude was like, he's just like a redneck, and he had like 200 tigers. So he has like this zoo, basically, that he runs, that he lives on or whatever, kind of. And I mean, people pay admission to come in, and they get to like hold like baby tigers and stuff. Like, and so then it just turns into so you've got that going on, and then there's like another guy that's got a park like down in, I don't know, somewhere like in South Carolina or something, and he does the same thing, but he's got like friggin' elephants, he's got all kinds of stuff. And then so then there's this other lady, and she is like, she runs like a rescue for big cats.
For big cats, yeah.
And so
They've got one of those
they get into a fight, like an online fight. So like she's bashing him and he's bashing her because she's trying to put him out of business, and he's trying to keep doing what he's doing. And then like it just keeps twisting and turning, and the guy's like, the lady that owns the big cat, like her husband, like disappeared like 10 years ago, just disappeared, and nobody can find him. Like just flat off disappeared. They can't find any evidence. Like he's just gone. And so it's just crazy, man. So then they start fighting, and then he ends up like getting involved with some other people. He ends up running for he ran for president. This guy, his name is
Ross Perot?
No, something like Joe.
Ross Perot died.
His real name is Joe something, but he changed it to Joe Exotic.
Huh.
And I mean, the dude wears like flashy clothes. I mean,
Hawaiian shirts and whatnot.
No, like sequin stuff. He's
like something from Elvis. Huh?
Yes, he's he's gay.
Okay.
He has 2 husbands.
Okay.
The guy that runs the other one, he's straight, and he has like 6 women that he's not married to, but they're like girlfriends, and he's got like, they're like cults. The people that work at these zoos are like cults. Like, these people suck them in. They work like 8 in the morning till midnight, and they get paid like $100 a week. That's what they pay them. But
wow.
It's just crazy. It's got like guns, rednecks,
Tigers,
explosion. I mean, this dude's like out just shooting guns, blowing stuff up, and then the whole thing is the Joe Exotic guy, he apparently put out a hit. He hired a hitman to kill the lady that runs the preserve. And he got caught and arrested, and like he's in jail now. Like he's in jail. But anyway, it's like it's a documentary, like
documentary series.
Documentary series, but it's like crazy. I mean, it's like when you think you can't see anything crazier on it, it just goes like it just hits you in the face, and you're like, oh my god, I didn't think it'd get any worse.
Oh my god.
That's the stuff I love.
Really?
I love stuff.
That's
like
what you love.
It's cool.
Good.
My wife was watching Love is Blind, so it's actually not awful though. But
is it a series?
Yeah, it's a series on Netflix type thing. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but it was awful.
I wouldn't
So,
recommend.
But what else? But we were watching a bunch of movies because I was catching up on a bunch of the movies and things of that nature. So we watched Parasite.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Did you like Parasite?
I did like it. I'm
That's
kind of
pretty
surprised that I did it, to tell you the truth.
A lot of reading.
There is, just because I can't
it,
speak Korean or whatever. But
yeah, it's pretty.
But
good.
yeah,
that's the one.
Have you seen Us?
I have not.
Ah, damn it! it.
I know. I've got it on my drive. But
I felt like it
kinda-
had a lot of similarities.
it kind of like a horror.
Is that
movie-ish
the one
type
where
thing.
That's the one that we've been telling them to watch forever.
Yes, yeah, that
Maybe.
one and Get Out, I think, or something.
Oh,
like
you
that.
never seen Get Out?
I've never seen that one either.
Is
No.
Parasite the one that won the?
Yeah, Best
Won
Picture.
the best picture, yes. Yeah.
You didn't watch it, but your wife did?
I think, I don't know. She watched that TV show, that Containment or whatever that everybody's watching now.
I don't know.
TV show.
It's like a series. It's like on Netflix
I have
or
no
Hulu
idea.
or something. It's called like Containment.
Jojo Rabbit. Watch that one.
Oh, is that good? I haven't seen that yet.
I really liked it. Brandy did not like it, and
But it's that kind of
Kaylin
weird,
thought it was weird,
satirical
yes.
humor, so...
It is.
I don't think my wife would probably like it
Yes,
either.
Brandy was making fun of me because I was sitting there smiling the whole way through, kind of laughing.
Yeah, because it's that absurd kind of
yeah,
satire.
and she was like, "This is just dumb."
No, it's funny.
And so it's different. It takes a different. Yeah,
Are you guys renting these online? Like, where are you seeing
They
them?
have a video store down the street.
yes.
Called
It's
Family
closed,
Video.
isn't it?
I don't know.
It wasn't when I
Redbox?
rented
I'm
Parasite.
not sure.
I think Parasite's on like Hulu or Netflix.
Yeah,
No, you have to rent it.
Sure.
You have to rent it.
yeah,
It's not like for free or anything.
On Netflix?
Correct.
Yeah,
You
sure.
can't rent it on Netflix. Netflix doesn't have that
I
model.
saw it pop up on there. I saw Parasite pop up on something.
No, they probably
probably
did because
Hulu.
right now with all these things though going
So it
on,
is
where they're
on
kind of
Hulu?
almost
We can rent it.
they're throwing lots of these digital copies
know.
though on
Well,
Amazon
I know,
and everything
but
else to buy.
Those are like
So I would imagine that Amazon's
that one that The Hunt or whatever. Like, I feel bad for that movie. Like, it got screwed twice.
Yeah,
But anyway, I was looking because it went direct to
it did. What is
digital.
it, Bloodshot or whatever did the Vin Diesel? one
Yeah,
kind of.
Bloodshot
I mean,
did
it was
too,
there
but-
for a week and then.
But
immediately went.
it's like $20
It
to
is
rent it.
$20 to rent.
I was like, man,
That's because they're testing that whole day and date thing. Like
Yeah.
if they release a movie in the theaters and
yeah,
at
but
home on the same day, you have to pay a premium.
But here's
Yeah,
the
price
thing: if
point's
I
too
were
high for me,
to,
though.
but it depends on the amount of people you have.
But like,
No, I
Scott's gonna
understand.
cost him
That's
$50
what-
to take his family
I
to go see it.
understand that.
So
but
if I were to do it from home, $20, and I have a family of 4 watching it, hey, $5 a person, that's not too bad.
Right.
But yeah, we were talking about that too. My parents, and stuff. I mean, the two of them rent one for $20. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're paying $10 for the comfort of my own home. I mean, it's pretty much the ticket price. It's not.
Yeah, no, I get
and
it,
they're
but it was
senior
just-
citizens, so I mean, it's probably more expensive to them than going to the theater to see it.
Yeah.
But it was just me. Like, I don't think Barbara has any interest in watching that movie. So I was just like, okay, I'll check it out. What is it? $5, $10, $20.
Yeah,
I'm not paying
I know.
$20
I
to
felt like that
watch
too.
a movie by myself.
What they should do is just sell it to people for $20, like you own it.
Exactly.
More
That's
people
what
would
I
do
would have
that.
thought. I would have thought that they would have just said.
Because then people are like,
flat out,
oh, because that would like push people over. Oh, $20, but then I can watch it
whenever I want,
as many times as I want,
and do
and-
that type of stuff. Yeah.
because people pay $20 for something anyway. So.
Yeah, the rental price right now is just too high, but they're experimenting right now.
Yeah.
Overall, see what they can do.
I don't know, dude. We have so much stuff because we got one of those Rokus.
Mhm.
There's like so many freaking channels on Roku. I don't know what's
There's
on
a lot.
what anymore.
Yeah. But the problem is with Roku is the fact that there's so many of them, which you got to subscribe though too, for some price.
But
as well.
but there's a lot.
there's a lot of free
There's
stuff,
several.
too.
There's like what Crackle
Yeah,
is
Crackle.
free.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of free ones. Tubi, I think, is another one.
Tubi.
yeah,
Boot-
Tubi is.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I could just sit down. I could just spend like a year just watching crap on streaming services and find plenty of
You're
stuff.
probably right.
Just because I like to watch like old stuff I haven't seen for a while, because I
Well,
remember it being good, and I watch it and be like,
I'll
oh,
watch.
That was
I'm stupid, and I'll watch stuff that's already out there on the web, on YouTube channels and stuff like Geek and Sundry, where they have all
yeah.
that tabletop, whatever. But yet, oh wow, look, it's on a streaming channel that I can get on my Vizio or whatever else. Ooh, and I'll watch tabletop, and there'll be commercials in that, So it's just stupid stuff like this, 'cause
There's
I
so
can
much
have it in the
content.
background.
It's
Yeah.
I don't
crazy.
know. I was flipping around on one of those channels.
Well, Voodoo. You guys have Voodoo?
Yes.
They have a bunch of free stuff on there too with ads.
Mhm.
That's the one I was thinking of myself.
Oh,
I
okay.
think was Voodoo, where it had. I think that's where I was getting Geek and Sundry and some other channel.
Well, that's where I have like most of my digital movie collection. I have it like on Voodoo, and all of a sudden, like my Apple, like I used to buy stuff on movies on iTunes, and I'd buy some on Voodoo, and I converted a bunch of my DVDs to Voodoo digital copies.
Uh-huh.
Well, then they somehow merged the library, so now I get like stuff I bought on Apple on my Voodoo, and I get stuff that I bought on Voodoo on Apple.
Apple. Cool.
So it's kind of cool.
What else did I see? I watched the second Jumanji. Yeah, it was okay. If you like the first one, it's kind of more of the
I
same.
never even
kind
saw
of
the
funny.
first one.
I didn't either.
First one's pretty funny. I mean, it's
I've heard
nothing
it's funny.
great, but it's an enjoyable
worth watching,
action
I'm sure.
type thing. Yeah,
Make you laugh.
yeah. That was the thing. Was
I haven't
felt,
seen it.
Ooh,
I really felt the need.
I saw something.
What'd you see?
Jesus.
Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Did you watch that one? I've got it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Did you watch it?
No.
Jay looks
Is
so
it-
fucking old.
Is it good?
So
It was fun. I mean, if you like Jay and Silent Bob, it's the
Right.
same thing that you saw
Okay.
30 years ago.
yeah, I've got it. I just haven't watched it.
It's
I watched, like,
amazing
a little bit part.
How many
I thought-
guest stars they have? Because like Matt Damon's in it, Ben Affleck. I mean,
Oh,
just
yeah.
everybody who's ever
Of
been
course
in a
it's
Kevin.
Matt Damon and
I just,
Ben
but I
Affleck.
mean, anybody who's been in a Kevin Smith movie pretty much made a.
made a cameo,
A cameo.
there.
Well, George Carlin didn't, and
She's dead.
I know, and Princess Leia didn't.
Carrie
For
Fisher.
sure, yeah.
Carrie Fisher did.
Probably.
But yeah, no, it's pretty good. I mean, he definitely puts his daughter in the movie quite a bit, which is always annoying. But then they make a joke about it, so then it makes it okay.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's pretty good. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
What? What you did it? What
I
were
saw
you-
The Good Liar.
what's that?
That one's with Gandalf and Herring
Okay,
Herring or whatever.
Oh yeah.
In which
yeah.
they're two old people, kind of dating or whatever. I mean, you can kind of see some of a plot twist though a mile away in this one in some
Yeah.
respects, and it drags because of it's like they had to put, we need this movie to go about hour and 45 minutes. We only got an hour's worth of material. What can we throw in there for another 45 minutes? So they like throw this whole weird backstory flashback thing that just I felt like took too long, and crap. So it's good acting because of course you got these two, longtime actors that are kind of in a lot of scenes together and everything and can play off each other real well. But other than that, the story itself I didn't think was all that strong.
Yeah, I thought I saw something else, but it's all kind of.
I want to see that Lighthouse movie.
I don't think you'll like it.
Lighthouse.
Huh?
I don't think you'll like it.
I think I will.
I don't think you will.
I think I will.
I think you'll hate it.
I want to see it.
Did you see The Witch?
VV. That one.
Yeah, that
What
one.
is
Did
that?
you see that one?
I've seen it.
What
I
is
didn't
It's
it?
so
like
good.
Oh fuck.
What is it?
Whatever.
You don't like it?
I'm realizing I do not like horror films, except
is
for
it?
maybe funny
Witch.
horror.
Did it come out recently?
I thought it
It's
was.
by the same guy who did The Lighthouse.
I thought it was
But it's
not
on
much.
Netflix.
It basically, if you've seen, what is the one of the kids out in the woods with the freaking camera? Blair Witch Project. This was a slightly better version of that. Maybe I don't know. It was.
I like bad horror movies. though.
If
This
you
is
like-
not bad. This is good.
It is.
But I
awful.
like good horror
You think
movies,
it's
but I
awful?
also like
I did
bad.
not like it.
Well, I mean, even if you didn't like it, did you think it was well made?
Okay, that is a very good point. It is very well made. You
Okay,
can tell
thank
that they
you.
have good production values, whatever the heck else, and it has the typical pacing of a horror film in a lot of ways.
And like the way it's shot, like it's not quite artistic, but it is kind of artistic. Like
It
it's
is.
done. It's got a
And
really good
it has some
atmosphere.
freaking
good
artsy
acting,
shit with
it's
it,
got
and that's
some
probably
cool-
another reason why it took me away. Because I'm like, do you want to be a horror film or do you want to be an art
It's like
film?
an artsy
I
horror
know.
film.
So it's like an artsy horror film, and that crap just doesn't work. I want my horror film to be either stupid fun or like shot in somebody's garage, type things, B movie type of things a lot of times. This thing was like, I kind of want to be a B movie, but I'm going to be an artsy, gorgeous looking B movie, and it's horror. But and like I said, to me it was like, ugh.
Super good.
The best thing though was I found that actress though, the one that's from Split and Glass or whatever. I thought she did a really good job.
The main girl.
The main kind of girl, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, type thing.
So
I'll
yeah.
have to watch that.
I like.
Yeah, you could give it a shot. I don't know. I was not a fan.
I like
but
artsy.
my wife, I think, liked.
I like artsy, and I'm not a big horror person, so artsy horror is like right on my.
Must be
alley.
right up your alley. I'm not a big horror person either, and that's probably why. I watched it because the wife wanted to, and she, I think, actually ended up liking it. But I
Well, yeah, because it's like, it's so funny. My wife is not a big horror person, and when I turned it on, and she's like, now it like goes forward in time or something where it's not like old timey, right? I'm like, oh no, the whole movie is set like in the 1700s. She's
this
like,
time.
oh,
I did
yeah, I'm
start-
out.
I did start watching that.
Did you?
I did. I never finished. I watched like the first 5 or 10 minutes.
And then you
Right?
fell asleep like me.
No, I was at work and I got busy and I never got back to it.
Good call.
Because the only thing my wife is less interested in the horror is period pieces.
Because it's an
It's
old.
like a great mix.
Yeah, because it's the old.
A period piece horror.
Woohoo!
She's
Yeah.
like- She's a witch or whatever, like in the
Who?
They make her a witch, or
Who
she is
does?
a witch.
How do you know? You only watched the
The
first
movie
5
The
minutes.
Witch. I'm trying to figure out if we're talking about the same thing.
Did you watch like the first 5 minutes, the last 5
Nothing
minutes?
happens in the
First
5 or 10 minutes.
It doesn't. You didn't realize that shit.
They
in
steal the
first 5
baby is all
minutes.
that
They
happens.
steal a baby. And
Oh,
you see
yeah,
the
they
old
steal a
woman
baby.
like try to like do some weird shit to that kid. I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
It's kind of freaky.
I watched part of it.
I don't know.
It's disturbing.
I watched Terminator.
Oh, I did see that. Dark Fate.
Yes, I watched that one.
Not good at all.
What?
See, I actually thought it was okay. So
It was better than okay.
I don't know about better than
Better
okay.
than okay.
But
Did you see the same movie?
It was a decent popcorn flick.
It was, but it was just so not necessary.
I would totally agree with that.
It just did nothing. And it was just, I mean, okay, here's what's weird about it. So, like, I go in thinking, I just want a good, mindless, just fun action over the top,
Yeah.
And it gave me that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's what it did, but I was still unsatisfied.
Oh, really?
So I went in with that expectation. It gave me exactly what I expected, but I was like, but maybe there's a little bit part of me that was like, I want more. I was hoping for a little bit more, that it was going to be better.
I
So-
don't know.
And it wasn't there.
My daughter and I both thought the same thing, though. We were like, yeah, it's kind of a fun film, but it was totally unnecessary.
So were either of you like when it first came out? There were several people that I talked to, and they were like extremely pissed off that they killed John Connors.
No, I
like,
didn't
in
care.
the first
No, I
5
didn't
minutes.
care.
And I knew that too because I'd read that.
I don't know. I think I knew it.
And I didn't care.
No, it didn't.
Well, I mean, all the
faze me.
previews show that it's all the women are fighting
Exactly
the whole
right.
time. So
So
I knew it
the
was like a
previews were
girl
all
power
that,
thing, which
so-
I'm fine with. It just wasn't.
So I guess because of that, I expected that something stupid happened, or whatever else. And so the beginning, 5 minutes didn't surprise me. I think I was a little bit more surprised that the older Arnold that shows up there is the same one that did kill her son, type
Right.
thing.
Yeah. Well, that thing.
Because
all
I
that-
was just under the impression that they had sent back like a whole shit ton of Arnolds, and that one of them took him out, and that she probably like killed that one at some point in time. Just in
Isn't that
basic
great though?
revenge.
He's like a curtain
So-
guy or whatever. Was it a curtain? What was he?
I don't even remember what the
I
hell
don't
he did.
remember.
Yeah.
But
He was
but all the
outdoorsy
like
guy,
fan
though.
service little moments fell flat for me too. Like when she's like, "I'll be back" or something like that. It's-
Mm.
No, that it
I
didn't
don't
even
know.
it didn't even apply.
That was in the trailer. So
It was a
I
good
was like,
Terminator
oh.
movie.
It was not a good Terminator movie.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You don't know.
That was
There's
like
only been one good Terminator movie, T2.
Two.
T2.
Yeah.
The first
I
one
don't
was
know
good.
though.
It's
that
good. It's dated though.
T3 is a fun. Film,
I do like
though.
T3. I did like T3
I mean,
actually.
with that female.
I don't know why people don't like T3.
The
I
first
actually
one
enjoyed
was
it.
good. Why are you discounting the first
It is good.
one?
It's just dated. I just
The first
watched
one's
it
very
recently,
dated,
and it's just it
especially
doesn't
when I
hold
watched
up.
it again with my kids because I was
Yeah.
trying to set up Terminator 2.
Yeah, it doesn't hold
So
up.
we watched the
That's the
first
problem.
Terminator, and they were just laughing out the wazoo at that. And I was like, "Yeah, it is pretty funny now."
It was great at the time.
Oh, yeah,
it was low
yeah.
budget, had a cool
That's
story.
right,
It was
that's
fairly
right.
new, but
And then they watched T2, and they were all like, "Oh wow, yeah!" I
Yeah,
mean,
T2
and
is
that
so much
that
better.
movie, was like freaking 25 years old or whatever.
that
or
movie's
more, 30.
aged fairly well.
And it still aged okay, yeah, to that point. Because my kids watching it like 5 years ago were entertained by it, but yeah, the first one they just laughed at. So T2,
That's all I mean.
they were
Is
like,
that
"Ooh."
it's a great movie, but it's dated. But anyway, yeah, I did see Terminator, and it was I don't know, just wasn't for me.
I would agree. I don't know that I thought it was the.
I
Nothing
mean, it's
special,
not
but it
as
was good
it's not as
popcorn.
bad as Genesis, which was like horrible. Did you see Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis was.
It's not as bad as that. It was a step up from that, but
The
it
problem
wasn't
with Genesis
a step
was
up
the
enough.
fact that they gave away the freaking big twist in the damn trailer, though. At least one of the trailers I had
Yeah.
seen. That Connor was bad and, full of nanobites or whatever the fuck they are.
What the problem with the Terminator Dark Fate? So like the guy who directed it was the guy who did Deadpool, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name? Miller? Tim Miller?
Yeah.
And he did such a good job with Deadpool. And you're like, well, dude can make fun action movies, right?
Yeah.
Over the top. And he knows how to do it. So you had high hopes there. And then when they did that script, they got a whole writer's room. Even Warren Ellis, that he talked about how he was like called in and he like phoned in and he had like this writer's conference to try and like spitball ideas for the movie. So I mean, they like assembled this like brain trust of like people to try and make it good. Got a decent director. I just don't know how it went.
What's this
How it was so mediocre.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, what the hell? So anyway,
It's hard to do, especially with that franchise, I think, in general. But
it is done. I mean, I don't know why they should have just stopped at 3.
yeah.
Or if they didn't stop at 3, they should have just kept going with Salvation, where they jumped to the future and like the
Yes.
whole thing of that.
I would
Because at
agree.
least that would be different.
Yes.
But instead of keep rehashing T2 over and over, it just doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Did you ever watch the TV series?
Yeah, I did actually.
It
It
So
did a
Connor
little bit,
Chronicles.
yeah. Because
It
it
was
had
not
It
good.
was good.
Well, it had
was
good
mediocre.
acting in there, type stuff with using Summer Glau and what was
yeah.
her name,
It
Liam
was
Headley
okay.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was okay from what I watched in there. But it had tended to be the chase of the day, or chase of the
Yeah.
week, every single week, type things was some overarching type stuff. But there's only that's the problem with Terminator films in general. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
basically the chase, and so
Yeah.
now you're doing this thing and. Then you try to make it as a weekly series where it's a chase now that's going over a full season versus just a 2-hour film.
Right.
It's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, it just always feels like it's just a rehash. They just keep trying to make T2 over. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
with varying degrees of success.
In some cases, yeah.
Whatever.
What else did I see? I know I was just watching a whole shit ton of movies. It seemed like there for part of it was my daughter came home for like a week, and so she's my movie kid. And so we were
Cool.
trying to catch up on
Catch up on everything.
stupid movies. Although I think we ended up watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse again because that's like one of her favorite films of all time.
Oh, nice.
And I enjoy it. It's got a good
It's a good
soundtrack and things. So
When does Star Wars come out?
It's out.
the digital copy is out, but I believe that
I want physical.
the physical stuff is supposed to come out the 31st,
Mm.
I think, or next week here.
Aren't you just hold out for the 9 movie set?
I'm not gonna.
That
spend
comes
kind
out
of
there.
money.
I know. I want that one. Best Buy exclusive. Freaking 4K, $250. It's like freaking 24 discs or something.
I don't have 4K.
Jesus
so-
Christ. I mean, I'm
I
this
don't
close.
have that kind of money.
If it wasn't for the fact that we're in a damn pandemic and I think the economy's going to crash, I would probably go buy it.
You're gonna
but-
get a check from the government.
That's probably true, and then I might go spend it on that to help revitalize the economy.
There you go.
My portion.
I just have to buy it online now because the store won't be open.
Well, that's true. They'll
And then
probably
you'll
take it
have
out
to
to my
wait.
car or something.
You have to wait 8 weeks for it to get shipped to
Yeah,
you.
that's true too. Then sanitize all the cardboard and whatever.
All right, let's do plunge.
Yeah, I better do some stuff.
Number 1.
Did you buy that because of Eminem?
I do love Eminem. I'm like the biggest Eminem fan.
You
So
are.
I would pretty much buy anything Eminem did, but I like Joe Hill as well. But
But you're
But
not
in that-
buying the,
I'm not buying his other books.
yeah.
So I guess-
I'm all in. I'm buying all of them.
Are you? That's
Wow.
cool. I might buy them in like trade, but not in single issues. But yeah, no, I'm a Eminem junkie. So anything Eminem I'll buy pretty much sight unseen. But Joe Hill was just kind of like an added bonus. But this issue is all set up. So they start getting some like transmission from some ship that disappeared like many years ago, and it's in like Russian waters, and so they can't go salvage it, so they find like some kind of ragtag crew kind of to hire them to go do it because they'll take the job because it's risky and they need the money or something, it's that kind of thing. So it's a lot of tropes or whatever, and it's like all set up, but I mean it's Eminem art, so I mean Eminem setup is pretty good, and it's looking to be like a ghost ship type of story or something. I don't know exactly what's going on. Like I said, there's a lot of exposition. Like you can see there, like there's just words and lots of talking. I mean, which is fine, but I mean, sometimes you gotta find a better way to. I mean, sometimes you gotta find a better way to do
You
Uh,
stuff.
like to
but
read,
the
You like to read.
the only good part is Joe Hill's a pretty good dialogue writer, and so he gives each character a pretty good voice as they're having this exposition. Like he gives each character a little bit of personality and kind of helps soften the blow a little bit or whatever, and get you an idea of the crew and that kind of thing. So yeah, plunge.
Okay,
number
I'm gonna
1
take a slight
is pretty good.
tangent here. A little
Tangent,
bit because of the fact
tangent.
that it's Joe Hill, though. Did you guys ever finish Lock and Key?
Nope,
on
I got
Netflix?
like 20 minutes into the first episode.
That's it.
Never
and
went
you
back.
didn't finish it either.
No.
Okay. I actually got my sister and my dad to both watch it, and they really enjoyed it.
My dad watched it. He
Yeah.
liked it too.
Yeah.
I need to finish Hunters, and I need
Oh,
to
I haven't
finish,
watched that one yet either.
and I need to finish Lock and Key. Actually, I need to finish Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Umbrella Academy.
I did too, actually, for
Oh.
the most part.
Another tangent just popped into my head. Did you watch the Eric Larson?
Yes, I did.
Babe.
I did.
Okay. How long ago did that come out?
I think it just came out Monday.
Oh, okay. I'm in the middle of it. I haven't finished it yet.
Cool. they ask a lot of the same questions we asked him when we interviewed him. So, hey, cartoonist kayfabe, we did it first. Just saying.
First, like, 5
Just
years,
nobody heard it.
5 years.
That's true.
Right.
Nobody heard it. But
Except for maybe them. That way they knew what questions to ask.
probably, because we did interview Jim Rugg and then we interviewed Larson, so he probably listened.
Probably.
I'm sure that's where he got the idea.
Well,
It
it's
has nothing
funny,
to do
I-
with interviewing Todd McFarlane and interviewing Eric.
I did just listen to there was another interview with Eric Larson on a podcast like I don't know maybe a month ago or so, and they really asked a lot about like his childhood and his dad and and it was, I mean,
Well,
it's like
he's told the same story.
he's told the
He's got to
same
get tired
story
of
so
doing
many
that.
times, but I'll listen to it ever. I
still
Eric
enjoyed
Larson,
it.
man.
So it's funny because before they did that, they did like they did an hour and like 15-minute
Of Savage Dragon.
the mini series, so just 3 issues. And so I was watching that today or listening to it at work. I mean, they're like breaking it down panel by page by panel, and I'm like, wow, that's some in-depth Savage Dragon, dudes.
They did that.
I mean, they're like,
before
look, they're like, oh yeah, this panel, I remember liking this as a kid and trying to draw it, and oh yeah, he's really doing a Magnolia thing here, you know. Oh, look at this splash panel or whatever. It's not a page, it's a panel. Oh, look at this background in this page. I'm like, wow, you guys are going deep.
that
And
was
I'm like, I love Savage Dragon, but even I'm like, how did you drag? I could read the 3 issues in like 30 minutes, and you're taking an hour and 14 minutes to talk about them.
yeah.
I don't know. I thought about you, Don, how you can do a review and it takes longer than the actual reading the book.
Then reading it.
Theirs probably sounded better than mine though.
I guess somebody else's turn.
There's probably.
I only have like 2 things.
I think I have some family
Although
tree.
one thing will probably
Well,
I'll
4
probably
came
talk
out,
about
but
for
I
like
only read
10
up to
minutes.
3. And I didn't even need to talk about it because you talked about it. I just
did?
brought them along. Well, yeah. 4 came out, so.
4. I don't think I've read 4. Maybe I have. Let me see
Oh,
what I got
what
in
did you
here.
go through? Oh, Gideon Falls.
I have 4.
Yeah.
Did you read 4?
No, I didn't read 4 though.
All right.
So we don't need to talk.
You
about
read
it.
like 1 through 3?
Let me talk.
Yeah, that's all I had when
Oh.
I read them.
Is that what's his name? Lemire?
Yeah, Jeff
Yeah.
Lemire.
Huh.
Number
So,
4, Family Tree. We're not gonna
This
talk about
is
You're not even going to talk about it?
it.
this
He
is-
hasn't read it, so I don't
This
want
is
You
to.
how-
didn't read it?
No, I read it, but
Well,
Don
yeah,
did.
but he read 1 through 3. You can
Yeah,
talk
so I
about
don't
that.
talk
already
about
talked about
4.
1 through 3.
You did?
Yes,
You
it's
did
about the
mention
girl that actually turns into a tree.
She's turned into a tree.
She's a tree growing out of the back.
Apparently,
of
her dad disappeared, and he must have turned into a tree
It's
too.
Groot
Yeah,
syndrome.
I remember you talking a little
And
bit
then
about
his
this.
basically his the
Did you
girl's
talk about all
grandfather.
3 issues, though?
I doubt it.
Yeah,
Don thinks I
I
did.
think so.
I don't know.
You probably
Anyway.
did. Go back and check the video
So
or the audio.
this is how busy I've been.
How busy you
How
been?
busy have
I
you been?
got to ship my box of comics.
Yeah.
My new comics.
Mhm.
The Thursday before we moved.
Yeah.
So
You
what
haven't
was that,
opened
a
it yet?
week? I opened it last night.
Wow,
All
that's
right,
pretty busy.
man.
How can you not open your box of comics?
I don't know. I just forgot
That doesn't
it
even
was there.
process.
All right, I'll talk about this. Everything that I'm going to talk about is the number 1 issue. Undone by Blood, or The Shadow of a Wanted Man.
So
Now
who's
it's
coming
by
out?
Lonnie Nadler, Zach Thompson, and Sammy Cavella. Now the only name that looks familiar is Zach Thompson. Is he the artist?
I don't know.
So while it's
writer?
number 1, did it come out like 20 years ago and you just
So,
kind of got to
why
it?
No,
did you
it
buy
just came
this?
out. I just got it out of my box.
Are you a
okay.
Western horror guy?
No, I don't know why I bought it. It's Aftershock. I was trying
Do you
to
buy
get
a lot of Aftershock?
No, but I thought I would give them a chance, and apparently,
And this is the
it
one
has
that
to have
stood out.
blood in the title.
You
and I'll
know,
buy
though,
it.
this looks like something that would be in the genre
This
I
is
like.
good.
you
He's
know?
gonna say how
A-
good it is.
A Western
This is
horror
actually
type
good.
of thing I could see.
So,
I don't.
all right. So the books start, and it's weird. So like, I read that, and then I read Bang. Did you buy Bang?
No.
What? How did you not buy Bang?
Is that Aftershock? No, Star Horse.
No, it's Matt
yeah.
Kent.
Yeah.
It's Dark Horse.
I bought that Black
Matt
Badge
Kent.
comic. Do you remember that one?
Oh,
Yes.
but this is so not Black Badge.
And I
This
got
is
burned, baby,
effing
burned.
good.
I do
Anyway.
like Wilfred Torres.
Yes. Anyway, so this book starts out like a book. Like you're reading a chapter out of a book. It's like
that
chapter
doesn't sound
3.
good.
And
Sounds like a lot of
Bang
reading.
starts out with like a book. I was like, what the hell? Why is everybody putting books in their books?
Why
now?
are they putting books in
Okay,
their books?
so
It's not a book. It's just a couple extra words.
It's a book, though. It says chapter 3.
It's a lot of extra words there, partner.
It's a bold move for
Yeah.
first
All right,
issue.
but
You
here,
really want to grab it.
you
quick.
go to the back.
And it's in chapter 4. Oh my
Yeah,
God!
you get chapter 4. It's like 4 pages of chapter 4.
Did you read
Jesus
that?
I did.
Christ. So it was that good.
It was. Okay, so Undone by Blood. So it starts out. You're
I
reading
won't
a
stay up
western.
because you don't have any bag and board.
You're reading a western
Yes.
about this guy who his.
That starts in chapter 3.
It starts in chapter 3. It does.
Okay.
He's herding cattle, and some of the cattle get away, but he doesn't like being chained down. He likes being like out, whatever. So then you find out that well, at first it looks like a dude, but it's a chick because she's like short hair. She kind of looks like a guy from the back. You just see it from the back. But anyway, it's this girl that is reading this book, and she's on a bus, and she goes to Arizona, I think, and it's 1971. And so she goes to this little rinky-dink town in Arizona, and she stops off, and so then she walks into a bar, and they kick her out, and so she goes to another bar, and there's this guy, and he's sitting there bragging about, I've lived here my whole life, blah, 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 and so she comes up and starts talking to him. She's like, oh, yeah, she's like, you've lived here your whole life. She's like, well, tell me about that family that got murdered, like, I don't know, 5 years ago or 6 years ago or whatever. And so he starts talking about it, and she's like, apparently it was her family that got murdered, and she's the only survivor, so she's come back to this town to kill the person that's responsible for killing her family.
It's like any good Western,
Right.
you know, it's revenge driven.
So she starts lipping off in the bar to this guy, and they end up kicking the shit out of her. They beat the crap out of her, take all her money, and leave her for dead in the middle of the road. And then at the very end, that's like the end of the first issue, and the police show up, and she's like laying there in the road, and they're like, hop in, we're going down to the station, and that's the issue. The art's pretty cool. Like I said, I liked it. It was a cool story. I don't know why I bought it. It just sounded cool, I guess. I liked it.
Well, that's good.
It was a good first issue.
I'm always amazed by what you choose to buy at a previews because there's so much stuff in there.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like, why did he buy that? And I'm like,
This doesn't seem like Don's type
like of all the
thing
stuff
yeah.
that's in Aftershock, even. I mean, like I get an Aftershock book. It doesn't really that doesn't really jump out at me.
I don't know.
But that's cool. I mean, I like Six Gun. It looks a little bloodier than that, but it's good.
6 Gun. Heck yeah.
Cool.
It's cool.
Oh, that's good.
I think it's Scott's turn.
Is it?
These are for you to read.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna talk about them that way. We can just talk about them.
Yeah, I haven't read those. I just got them.
You just got them too?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because you're caught up on both those series, right?
I think I am. I mean, does this one take place after the great doors opened
I
up?
think
And
so.
What number
It's
is
like the
that?
first issue of the war.
Oh,
That's how war
yep.
started.
Is that 41 or 42?
This is 41.
I think I have 42.
Do you?
Okay, well, I haven't been to the comic
Ooh,
store in
wow.
like a month, and now they're closed.
Ooh,
so
spoiler alert.
I
Somebody
don't
died.
know. They did?
No. I don't
Did I read
know.
Did I read that?
Okay, let's see here. I read Outer Darkness, Volume 2, the Castrophony
Castrophony of
Hate. There you go.
Did you see Choose coming back?
I did not.
It is. It's coming back.
Yay.
What's it called?
CHU Chew. It's going to be about the sister.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like a
Tony.
spin-off. Yeah, Tony Chew.
That's right. They're both Tony.
Alright, Outer Darkness, Volume 2.
Yes.
It's good, right?
This is so much better than the first one.
Right,
The
'cause
first
the-
one, you were just kind of like on this edge, type thing where
It
you're
was
like,
almost good.
there's
it
a
was kinda
possibilities here, but
Potential.
I don't know. This is very good. It still has a little bit of a problem of likable characters
Sure.
overall, but you're starting to feel like, especially the one alien down there in the corner, like she's maybe got some reasons for some things, so as they're kind of filling these little backstory pieces.
Well, you get to finally get this guy's motivation a little
You
bit.
got
Like,
his motivation a little bit more, and things. Yeah, you're exactly right. Some humor thrown in there, and things. It moves at a blistering pace, I think. I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, I think it moved pretty fast, and it's cool how there's like a couple different kind of stories too. Like they had that whole haunted house and space thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, but yet they tied that into the larger narrative.
Yes,
you know?
I agree with you. Yeah.
I felt it was pretty well done.
Yeah. It's definitely got some potential. It's kind of a neat idea, and I feel like there's a bigger narrative here going on that it still to me bounces a bit on the edge of a knife. Right now I'm on that side where I'm like, I'm digging this, but I also feel like it's something that I don't know how long you can carry out though either.
Yeah, I see like two more trades maybe, max.
Exactly.
I think he could wrap it up.
I don't know that you can keep this thing going for several years.
Because I kind of see where it's going, and I feel like just kind of develop that story.
That's right. And throw these little side things in, that are really quick. Like say the nun one with the haunted house. It was like a little one shot. You throw it in here and there, maybe or something, because it was like this humorous little feel, type things.
Correct.
But overall, you don't need a whole bunch of those, type things, or another tangent to go off on there.
Yeah, I think if he was to drag this out like Chew, I don't think it would work.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
But I think if he does like another trade or two, I think it'd be pretty tight.
But yeah, I agree with you. Maybe I was just in the right frame of mind for it. I don't know, but
no, I had the same feeling. I was like, the first trade was
pretty enjoyable.
Was a little rough to start, and then as it got going, you're like, okay, I can kind of see potential. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah.
And by the second trade, you're like, all the kind of world's built,
Yes.
And so now you can kind of get into the characters and the motivation and just kind of drive the story forward a little bit. Yeah. So no, it was good.
Did you buy Outer Darkness Chew crossover?
I did not.
I did, and I started to read it, but I didn't get very far in it.
It probably makes no sense if you don't read Outer Darkness.
Do you read Outer Darkness?
No, I don't.
Oh, God.
But it said, because I read like the first couple pages and I was like,
I don't understand
maybe,
this at all.
Well, no, I was like, this is like 3 issues. Maybe I should save it and read it all at the same time.
I'm wondering if the next Outer Darkness trade will include that in it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. But it had a little thing at the beginning that said this story takes place between Outer Darkness numbers 6 and 10. And after Chew number 60, but also during Chew number 18. Which I have no idea.
That sounds confusing.
I know.
Very specific.
Yes, exactly. It was like 18 or it was like a number of an issue.
Probably to do with the damn chickens.
I'm like, do I need to go back and read Chew number like 16 or 18? Like just to.
Speaking of John Layman and Chew, apparently Leviathan is never going to finish, so you can just shred those issues if you want.
Leviathan.
Yeah.
Well,
now, doesn't he do the one like the Green Thumb or something weird too?
Oh, Rob Guillory.
No, that's
Rob Guillory does Farmhand.
Okay.
Did you read any Farmhand?
I did read about like the first, I don't know, half dozen.
Guess I need to give you the next.
Just so
arc or whatever.
I just didn't know if that was still going or not.
Yeah, it's still going.
It was a little.
He does like 5-issue arcs, and then he kind of takes a little break, and then does issues. So, like most comics,
it was borderline horror.
Yeah, it is kind of horrorish. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Cool.
Outer Darkness. Is it my turn?
It does.
All right, so I read Crimes of Passion Batman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you know why I bought this?
No. Because it's got a Greg Smallwood.
Yeah, Greg Smallwood does it. Greg Smallwood.
He did the whole thing?
Love it. No, he just did like 7-8 issues or pages.
Yeah.
And so I like Greg Smallwood's art, so I pretty much
too.
And he doesn't do a lot of interiors, so I pretty much follow him wherever he goes. But this was like $10.
Yeah.
It's an 80-page giant, but he only did like 8 pages
because
there's like 10 stories in it, and so each story is like a different sort of Batman character.
Yeah.
And so Riley Rossmo did one of them too, though. But the Smallwood pages are like super great. I mean, I like his style. I just kind of enjoy his.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm showing you there.
Yep, right there.
But yeah, he has such a I feel like he spends time and makes sure every like panel is perfect. You know what I mean?
The problem is he has such a simplistic look, but yet there's an incredible amount of detail there with it. I don't know how he balances it so well. Where there's such clean lines.
He's very. At least in those pages, briefly looking at them from here, they're very like Sean Phillips-y.
Yeah, I see that. I also see a lot of, he always said he likes Nexus and Steve Rude. I see a little Steve Rude in there too, to be honest with you. But Yeah, and then Riley Rossmo did a story.
It's got a certain
And
classic
then
look, though, to it, too,
after
as
you
well.
get through Smallwood and
Is that what your point was?
Rossmo,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
creator list gets pretty
Bigger
rough.
stuff. Like I would know.
The artists go down from there. Not bad. Like Mike Norton does a story, and then some other people who I don't really know their names. None of the art is bad.
Is it Bat Pug?
No, it's not Bat Pug.
No.
None of the art is bad. The one issue is that I guess I should have paid more attention, but it says DC Universe Crimes of Passion. There's only like one Batman story in here. The rest are like
Catwoman.
within Gotham,
Right.
but you got like, a Catwoman
Clayface.
story and a Green Arrow, Black Canary story, Plastic Man story,
It's a fun little
Shazam.
comic.
a
that you just
Nightwing
get a whole bunch of
Batgirl
stuff,
story. Yeah, I'm not a big anthology guy. Is
You
the
get
problem?
to-
A
you get to
question
dip your feet
story.
in and
Yeah.
and check out Plastic Man.
So-
who you've read never.
I don't know, $10 for an anthology about a bunch of characters I don't really give a crap about, with creators who I mostly don't care about.
Right. So
yeah.
You paid $1.20 per page of Greg Smallwood.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Woo.
Is that how the math?
I
works
got a
out?
discount,
don't
I
know.
think. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great investment on my part. But really, I mean, I don't think there's any other way to get these pages, because it's not like they're going to collect them in a trade or anything.
I'm sure it'll be a digital online.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the digital book probably costs $10 too. So anyway, that was my. The Smallwood pages were nice. The Riley Rossmo pages were really nice, and the other stories were okay. They were just very superfluous. They did nothing for me. I mean, I don't even know how they pitched this book. It's like, hey, let's do a Crimes of Passion book. We'll do like a 10-page anthology of like different DC Universe characters with like a love theme or something. It's like, okay, I mean, why? Why does this book exist, Don? Other than to get me to spend $10.
That's why.
That's
Because
it?
the people, they want to make
It's
money.
to get people to spend $10.
Yeah.
I blame Dan DiDio, and I'm glad he got fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Wow.
Just kidding. I'm sorry,
Drop
Dan
the hammer
DiDio
there.
got fired.
Boom.
Speaking of John Layman,
John Layman. More John Layman?
the man who
A legend.
Effed up time?
effed up
More
time.
Aftershock. Is
Yeah.
it like an Aftershock type of week?
It must have been.
Man Who Effed Up Time. Man, I can't wait to hear about this one by
Yeah.
Carl Mostert.
Yeah, this one wasn't like it didn't like it wasn't the greatest, but it's a it's a time story. Hey, how about that? So there's this the main character, he's like a lab assistant, and he's working in a lab, and they have perfected time travel. There's
Of
like
course.
two guys and a girl, and apparently that guy was like, so him and not the older scientist guy, but the younger one, he's always picking on the main character, and so in the backstory you come to find out
What kind
that
of paper is this? The book won't even stay shut, dude.
yeah, I don't know, and they were like both of those issues are like cardstock covers.
Yeah.
They were like $4.99
Oh.
instead of $3.99.
Was there an option for a non-card
I
stock?
guess not.
Because I
don't know.
noticed like the Goon has
Yes.
like a card stock for like $4.99 or like a regular
and
for
DC does it,
$3.99.
but I don't
And
think
I'm like,
there was on this
I'll
one.
take the $3.99,
Right.
thanks. Why would I pay an extra $1 for card stock?
Right, exactly. That's
Do
where
I
I'm
give a
at.
crap if the cover is card stock?
But anyway, yeah, I don't care either way. So
Maybe if you're going to get it signed or something. I don't know.
Come to find out, he has a bad day, so he goes to the bar to have a drink, and this guy comes up to him in a hoodie, and he's like telling him about how he can change his life, and it turns out that it's him.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't know.
Of course.
You don't know if it's him from the future or him from
Hooper.
the past. He doesn't say.
Well, if it's from the past, he wouldn't have the time machine yet, would he? Wouldn't he remember doing it if it was from the past?
I don't know, man.
I'm no time travel expert, but that seems kind of obvious.
Right. So anyway, he tells him,
You don't know your term.
he's like,
very
here,
well, do you?
take this. He's like, take this and go back to the lab
Apparently not. He liked Dark
and
Fate.
go back in time. Go back in time for a week and try this out. And your life, I promise you, your life and my life are going to be better. And so he's like, okay, sounds good to me.
But if he does that, then
Is he-
wouldn't he not go back in time to tell him to make it better, and then it wouldn't happen?
He
and it would be
finds
bad
out.
again?
I mean, you find out during the story that he was actually him and the other guy that don't get along. They were actually in college together, and he's a rich kid, and so his parents paid for his schooling, and he ended up having to drop out. And the guy that got the job that he wanted basically wrote his paper on his ideas, so he feels burned, like, this guy, I should be where this guy is, because he's also dating his ex-girlfriend. So like, his ex-girlfriend is the lady that works in the lab. It's just going out with him now instead of just going out with the other guy. So he's like, okay, fine. And so he goes back into the lab after hours, goes back a week in time, and he decides to... there was something on there that they said that he had given him directions to do. So he did that. I don't remember what it was. And then he goes and he buys flowers for his ex-girlfriend and says, hey, let's give it another shot, blah, blah, blah. And then just because he can, he goes and buys a lottery ticket with the winning lottery numbers for that week for like $100 million jackpot or whatever. And then he goes back and he steps back in and time's all effed up.
Everybody's the man who effed up time.
Everybody's walking around with the stovepipe Lincoln hats.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like a big temple, like an Aztec temple, and it says King Lincoln the Sixth. And apparently, whatever he did,
Really effed up time.
it saved Lincoln. So Lincoln was never assassinated, and then eventually he became King Lincoln. And this guy who's King Lincoln the Sixth is like his great descendant. He's like his descendant. And so then it has some cool little back matter. It has like a Wikipedia page, like a spoof Wikipedia page about the assassination, the attempted assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And I don't know. It was okay. As far as like a time travel story, like it wasn't like the greatest thing I've ever read, and I can't wait to read the next one, but I've already ordered the next 3 or 4, and I think it's a limited series, so I'll finish it, but maybe it'll get better. It wasn't terrible, it just wasn't like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing since Back to the Future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you and Terminator. It's like, you gotta wow me. I've already seen time travel.
Yeah.
50 million times. You gotta put a spin or you gotta wow me or something. But then again, maybe this is somebody's first time travel book and they loved it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm just old and I've already read everything.
You've heard the time travel stuff.
But it was John Layman. That's why I picked this. That's why I picked this one up. It was John Layman, and it sounded like an interesting concept.
Let me posit a theory / scenario to you, okay? So John Layman's at the convention, right? And the Aftershock guys come up to him and say, hey, pitch us a book, dude. He's like, well, I got this cool Outer Darkness book, but I think Image is going to publish that. I got another idea, though, about this guy who messed up time. It's like a time travel thing. Would you guys be interested in that? It's like, yeah, I don't really have an artist, but I can find somebody. Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you.
I mean, I'm really going to be focused on Outer Darkness in this Leviathan book, but I could throw you guys an idea or something, you know? On the side where I'm doing the Charlie's Angels Dynamite thing, I can throw something together.
Yeah.
I feel like Aftershock is like Image's like cast-offs, like
This
the
is
things
probably
that
better than
Image
Charlie's
passed
Angels,
on.
though.
That's true, but I feel like Aftershock is like all the pitches that Image said no to. Did you get that sense as well?
Not really.
Like Image is like, nah, I don't think we want to do that, and they're like, okay, let me go to ask Aftershock because they need stuff.
No.
Oh yeah, they're in.
But no.
Yeah, it is Don.
Yeah.
But I think, because I think it was, I don't remember who it was we were interviewing. We were interviewing somebody at one time.
Yeah.
And
they said, why don't everybody just publish their books at Image?
I said, why doesn't everybody just publish their books at Image? Do you remember who it was we were talking to?
I think it was CW.
We never interviewed him, did we?
I don't know, maybe not.
But anyway, I was like, and they were like, well, you know, I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. I mean, I got really good working relationships with this company.
Yeah.
And then I can do stuff over here.
Sure.
And it's like, spread it around so that,
No, I get that. You want to kind of spread it out.
And
so
I think that's what Aftershock really is. I mean, because I listened to a few of the Word Balloon, And I think like Jeff Lemire did like a cool story for them, and
Maybe.
I think
I
it
don't
was
remember Lemire
Aftershock.
doing anything with Aftershock. Jeff Lemire does spread his stuff around. He's got stuff at Dark Horse. He's got stuff at Image. He does stuff at Valiant, and he does stuff with what's the other one I was gonna say?
Dark Horse? No,
I
you
said
already
Dark
that?
Horse already.
Okay.
What's the other?
Why can't I think? Oh, the TKO Studios. He does
That's
stuff
what I was
with them.
wondering. Maybe I'm getting it confused with TKO. TKO. Maybe he did something with. Did he do like a space?
Yeah, he
It
did
was
like
like-
a space thing with
It
them.
was like a single graphic. Okay, that's
Yeah.
TKO then. It's not.
Yeah, not
it's not.
I don't think Lemire did anything. Lemire did anything with Aftershock.
Probably not.
I'm not, but I know Garth Ennis did.
Yeah, and so did.
Warren Ellis did a book.
Yeah,
So I mean,
I walked through hell. I read it.
no Shipwreck. He
Was
did a
it?
walk through hell.
Wasn't that?
I think that was Ennis, maybe. I don't know. I don't think Ellis did.
Oh, Ennis. Yeah.
But anyway, their initial
Phil
burst,
Hester.
Aftershock, their initial burst, they did have some good creators lined up. I feel like after a year, not that the creators aren't good, they're just not A or B list.
Yeah.
How about that?
They're writing that. Apparently that.
And
Baby
John
Teeth-
Layman's a pretty good creator, but I'm saying I think
But they're giving.
he's
them
giving him
their
his like
type stuff.
ideas that
Sure.
he didn't want to do at Image.
Sure. Well, I mean, they're riding Baby Teeth.
And that book's pretty much wrapped up, isn't it?
I don't know,
I
but
don't
that's Donny Cates, and
I
he's
know, but
huge
he's
now.
mostly doing stuff with
And then-
Marvel now. I don't think
right.
he's doing his Baby Teeth much
I think
anymore.
he still is, and then
Well, it
you've
comes
got,
out sporadically.
you've got the Colin Bunn. I mean, with that is it Dark Arc or whatever that I don't
Yeah, Colin
read?
Bunn's got a couple books, but he's got books everywhere. He's got stuff with
Oh, I
Dark
know.
Horse. He's got stuff with Oni, and I feel like he takes his best stuff to Dark Horse or Oni, and kind of the stuff that kind of he just wants to kind of throw at the wall and see what sticks. He takes to
Well, I
Aftershock.
think Dark Arc's really stuck because it's up into like 3 or 4 trades. I mean, it's got to be up to like issue 20 or something.
I think you're on crack. Look it up.
All right.
All right.
Anyway,
What Scott?
just an idea. Just a thought. I know Scott is in board. You apparently are not so sure.
Oh, you read Black Hammer.
Hammer.
Is this
This
all
is
of
the best binding I think you've ever done.
I didn't buy it.
It's a nice black
Damn.
hammer. Boom for Black Hammer.
stuck on your leg?
Look at that. Oh.
So this is like what, all 20?
Look, I don't know. It's a hell of a lot is what it is.
Did they do 12?
Well, they did like 12 and then they did another 12.
They did an annual. They did 12 annual, and they did like 10 or 12 or something.
I think it's another 12.
Yeah, it probably is.
It's a hell of a lot in there. So I knew the premise of this a bit
And you read
because,
part of it before, right?
and I had read some part of it. I don't even remember. Is there because there's other offshoots, so I don't know if maybe I
There
read
were,
some of those.
and you might have read one of the offshoots.
That's what I'm thinking. I may have done.
There's
I didn't
been
buy
like
the offshoots.
5 or 6 minis. They're doing one
Yeah,
right
there's
now.
quite a few of
There's
them.
one coming out right now. but-
So
Skull Digger, and then there's another one, the Captain.
Barbalian or something.
Huh?
no,
No,
that's
the-
probably true. Yeah, but there's the one for the. What'd you say?
They're
there's
doing
first
one with the old.
Oh, yeah,
the Frankenstein Sherlock or whatever. Sherlock Frankenstein.
Well, they did
No,
one.
they did
but
Is that what you
the
said?
old guy who's all confused. and
It's
crazy.
starting to come.
Oh,
It's not out yet.
Captain
Correct.
Weird.
And they just solicited the Barbalian,
Oh,
his little
okay.
series.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
regardless, this
Regardless.
is the core book.
Yeah. So some plus and minuses. It's got like I don't know, how would you put it? The interesting thing is that he's throwing a lot of ideas or he's putting stuff into a book that I feel like has a lot of tributes or what would you say references to a whole other ton of
Homages.
shit.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
type things. I mean, because I almost feel a little bit in some respects like there's a little Astro City maybe type of thing, with sometimes when they do the flashbacks to what was going on in what the hell is their city even named? Hell, I just read the damn thing.
Oh, yeah.
Starts with an S, but I think or something. But you get some of that. It's trying to throw back to some of the feel of a golden age of comics. Then he's throwing in his dark humor, and things, and trying to keep you guessing and other stuff. It's enjoyable. I will put that, type things. But because of so much of the fact that it's trying to do almost a reimagining of some things that have been done before in some cases, I think sometimes I don't know. For me, it had a little bit of a struggle of trying to be fully unique. Does that seem right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is in its way.
It's the Justice League.
But yeah, I mean, well, but there again, it's another person doing a Justice League homage almost in a way, but trying to use some different other ideas, and stuff. So at the end of the day, it's still a superhero team, that used to save some world that had people and they had some big baddie, and then goes to there's other little things, like to this almost the Shazam, type, it's got all these little references, to this type of stuff, trying to reimagine it in some ways. So, but because of that, there again, it's retread type of waters in some way, just trying to reimagine, and it's good, type stuff. It's definitely above average, and things, and yeah, I had no problem reading it. I enjoyed it, but at the end of the day, it almost felt like. It felt to me, especially the first 12 issues, like a freaking cat, or you playing with a cat, type thing. What is the mystery of the farm, type things. Holy shit, did he drag that damn thing out? Then the problem was once you finally know that, then the series goes really almost freaking, bohemian or something, in some ways, and kind of goes off onto its own little weird rails, which I was like, I think I get it. I don't know, but it was like, you just didn't really know what to do. I don't know. It's just really odd. I felt like maybe I wasn't fully satisfied. Maybe I understand what he was doing with it, but it just got to, like you said earlier when we were talking about the witch or whatever, kind of into that arts realm, of things. I felt like it maybe got into that by the time it was getting to the end, where it was like, ooh, I've got to be, this next level of smart or something like that with over this. But maybe that's too strong of a word, I mean, it was trying to be like a next level of maybe art or something like that with it.
Scott's trying to tell us that he liked Black Hammer, but I really don't think he liked Black Hammer.
I think
I liked it. I enjoyed it, but I don't know that I was fully satisfied with it.
Gotcha.
Didn't quite stick it.
That's right. Yes.
Wasn't all there.
Yeah.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it all together, like in the book. Like I read it as it came out. I had it bound, but I haven't gone back and reread it or whatever. But I just remember the first series I was like super into. Like I get what you're saying, that it was like it's not super original with the characters or all that stuff, But I felt like it was executed so well that I enjoyed it so much. I didn't care that it was sort of a retread. It was kind of familiar in some ways. It wasn't super original in that way, the characters, but I just felt like it was so well done, and I just enjoyed it so much that I didn't care.
I think there's a lot of that because the writing is so strong on the characters. I would totally agree. That especially for really that first dozen issues, you are spot on. The character development, the overall writing, the interaction, the world building with it. It really is good. It really is well done. I think my only problem at all with it was the fact that I just felt like he was toying with you in some respects,
just dragging out that
almost
mystery.
a bit of a long time with this mystery, type things, to the point that it was almost aggravating by the time you got to those last couple of issues, especially when Black Hammer's daughter shows up. It's like, what, really, type of thing, where it was like, okay, we're gonna twist, put this mystery out there a little bit longer, type thing. But yes, but on the flip side of that, I think there's a certain aspect of really good writing there because of the fact that I am interested in this mystery and I want to see where it goes, and whatever else, type stuff. So yes, I'm definitely with you there on it. And I think maybe because of the drag out of the mystery, it did cloud me a little bit to that point of going, I'm a little aggravated here, And then, like I said, once you finally got to the next series, once you get in there and it starts really going, I mean, it's flying and it's just boom, 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 and it's really good, too, especially as it's leading up and it's telling you, breaking it down, and you're giving that whole, spiel of, it's like the mystery writer, giving the spiel of the whole thing, all of a sudden. But that happens in like about issue 6, I think, of the second series or something. So you still got like the next chunk of the issues to go. So once the big surprise is given, then it just kind of floats into a little bit of a strange area where I wasn't quite as satisfied, I think, in some ways.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't gone back and read the whole thing, so it'll be interesting to see how I enjoy the second half, because I did feel like it was more plot-driven and not as character-driven, and so it'll be interesting to see.
Perhaps, but I mean, even the plot is just kind of woo.
It's very out there.
In the last half of that second series, at least I thought. But then again, I tend to be a more, I don't know if it's analytical, but I like maybe being spoon-fed in some respects. I mean, I like to have a little bit of that itch, type things. Morning Glories, I like that because it's like, it's giving you a little bit of a mystery. It's giving some things that are in a background of maybe, some... Yeah,
but you want it all to come together.
But you want it all to come together and at the end, make sense. That's right, in a clear, concise method. I can still even put up with some mysteries, but, I guess part of my problem is that by the time you get to the end there, or that last half, he starts almost trying to break that fourth wall in some ways, but yet it doesn't do that, so that's where it kind of gets me, because it's like almost taking then the medium and trying to change, I guess, in some respects. Maybe not the medium, but maybe the narrative, I guess, in a way.
Well, so many writers say, like, well, it means whatever you want it to mean, or you should interpret it your own way, and I'm like, no, I mean, definitely I should have my own interpretation, but it needs to have a clear, concise, something too, like, it's that fine line. It's like you want it to be to where it can be something different for every person, but you also want it to be firm and obvious and clear.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really great writers do, is they make it like to where you can take from it different things, but at the same time it is totally fully developed and not like loosey goosey.
Yeah. Well, overall though, you're right. I tend to like those type of homage type of stories that are trying to take stuff that we are familiar with and throw a new spin on it. And I think this is it does it well, mainly because I think Lemire is a very good writer. I tend to gravitate more towards the writers that I like, and I do think that he's one of the better ones. He still does very well with this. I just felt like I think maybe that was the case. Maybe because of him, I felt like there should have been a little bit better stick of the landing, type thing. And it's not bad by any means. It's just not maybe what I was satisfied enough with. And like I said, I think part of it was I felt like he took this mystery out a little longer than he should have. But at the big scheme of things, I think it was probably a good thing, even from his writer's perspective, because by the time I got there, I was probably almost as aggravated as the little damn girl, type thing of going, get me the hell off this damn farm, type things. Which is, a sign of kind of good what he was trying to do as well with it. So.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Cool. I read The End, Captain America. So every once in a while, Marvel does these end books. It's like the last story of this character type of thing. And this is The End, Captain America, and I bought it because it's by Eric Larson. Speaking of.
Oh my God.
I bought that. I haven't read it yet.
So it's a very straightforward, very Kirby-esque, which you would expect from Eric Larson, Captain America story. He's definitely homaging that second Captain America Kirby run, just kind of crazy, over the top. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy it. Like I said, I like Eric Larson. I like Captain America. I like Kirby, so what are you going to do?
So it's just
but I mean, it's a fairly...
hit on all...
So, I mean, it's a fairly straightforward story. It's like the end of the world. The Red Skull has somehow kind of come back to life, and his blood or his stuff has infected everybody, and it's like a global pandemic. No analysis required, but basically everybody's like is getting infected and turned into a Red Skull clone, like crazy people, and so he's basically fighting against that. It's kind of like a sort of I Am Legend type of thing, where like everybody's kind of like chasing him, and he finds like a little group of people who he teams up with and tries to solve the mystery of how to fight back this infection or whatever. So I don't know. It was fun. It was good. The art was cool.
I'm looking forward to reading that. I love Eric Larson.
Pretty simple.
On the front cover of that, or when you open that on the inside, have you read that one, Strange Academy, or are you getting that one?
Oh, I didn't order or anything, but yeah, it looks fun. I'll probably.
I just wondered, being Scotty Young and
Humberto
Ramos. Yeah, I thought that one of you two would be picking it up.
I'm sure Don's probably.
I didn't.
No?
Really?
What?
I'm not into this kid It's
The
it's
kids
like
stuff?
a kid academy. I don't know.
Okay.
It's-
Not
I mean,
up
the
yours,
creators.
but
the
it sounds like it'd be right
creators-
up his alley.
I know, right?
Huh.
If only.
Well, I'm sure I'll read it. I just didn't buy it.
You're just waiting for the trade, huh?
Well, no, I'll just read it on Marvel Unlimited. I don't buy a lot of
he
Marvel
doesn't
books
buy
anymore.
Marvel 'cause he reads it online.
I just read it. I can wait 6 months. I got
Speaking
plenty
of-
of other stuff to read.
Cool. Well, you have to let me know what you think of it because I follow Scotty Young is what is it, Hot Mess or whatever type.
Oh yeah, I
thing.
do too. I'm on his
And
mailing
I
list.
know, of course, actually, it's he's been talking that one up. Here
Yeah, he's pretty excited about it. I think it'll be
couple weeks
good.
or
Well, you guys probably knew a long time ago, but I was reading through previews, and apparently Middle West is ending.
18.
Yeah.
There's one more trade.
No kidding. I think you maybe mentioned that last time though.
I thought I did mention
Yeah.
that on the podcast.
Maybe.
I think you did.
You just don't listen to me.
I don't listen when you talk.
That's true.
It sounds familiar when you mentioned that, but yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
I'm not gonna. I have a bunch of single issues, but I don't really remember most of them. But I will
Oh my
talk
God,
about
is that
Oblivion
thing still
Song
going on?
only because 24 is like the end of the arc. It's like the 2-year mark, and they're gonna take like a short
You should just go
2-month
ahead
break.
and do another one. I didn't want to do a review or anything.
Well, I'm just trying to space it out. Mine was
Go
pretty
for it.
fast.
I have nothing else
You're
anyway.
fine.
But
Actually, I
Oblivion
do
Song
have one more
24,
thing I
it
can talk
ends. It kind of ends this arc, and some cool stuff happens. At this point, they're like back in the world, and there's these like I don't know if they call them faceless men or something, and they're trying to rescue some people out of there, and the faceless men are trying to figure out how to get to our world, and it leaves on kind of like a big cliffhanger as Kirkman's kind of do. But it's
Does
a
it
nice,
really?
good kind of
Yeah.
breaking point because he'll collect these into big hardcovers with 12 issues each.
Yeah, he already
does.
did. The
Walk
solicited
into-
the first one.
Did you
Yeah.
do the first 12 issues?
So,
Yeah, I think it just.
but yeah,
I, think
I
it
mean,
was just solicited
this
in the
book is
last
still really
few
solid. Oblivion Song.
It's solid? Okay.
years. Really?
That's always the thing I felt with it. It was solid, but it's just
It's
not
solid.
that upper tier
It's
of
just
his
not like
stuff.
it's just not Invincible or Walking Dead.
That's
but
right.
I don't know if anything is gonna be at this point.
Yeah,
I mean-
I don't know. I'm really not.
Well, what
like,
was the other
up
one that
on
he did about the
Oblivion Song.
exorcism though type stuff?
What's that?
The exorcism type thing.
Oh, Outcast.
Outcast.
I would
That
say
one,
it's
I
just
liked
like-
Outcast myself, and I don't know that I
I like
I feel
That's
Outcast
ending too.
and Oblivion Song.
They
I
just
already
solicited
did.
like the last issue, I think.
Okay.
I like them about the same. I would say they're both pretty just solid books. Kind of like at this point, kind of like Mark Miller. Like his stuff is all pretty solid. Like not like when I read his books, I'm never like blown away. It's the greatest thing I've ever read, but.
Okay.
Kirkman is just that kind of solid writer.
He
to me
is.
at this point,
Yeah.
and he gets great artists to collaborate with because he can pretty much get whatever artist he
Yeah.
wants,
Well, but
And so-
he knows how to write.
and he knows how to pace, and he
That's
knows
right.
he's got his
He
own
knows
little
pacing,
formula.
He knows character development. He knows
Yeah.
dialogue, type things. And I mean, even the it used to annoy me in The Walking Dead where you just have a page full of frickin' words and it'd be like, oh fuck. But I mean, it was fairly engaging, stuff that's in their conversation. And he
You
does
guys
the
just
same
hate
even with Oblivion.
words.
I like words, but like it's kind of like Marvel
I
movies.
don't.
Like when you see a Marvel movie, like a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, like they're kind of similar. They have the same kind of humor. They have similar pacing. I mean. There's a
Sometimes, yeah.
little bit of variation, but you kind of know what I feel like Kirkman and Miller are kind of like that. Like they have their formulas and they kind of stick to it fairly well. They don't really deviate too much, and
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at with the book. So I like it. I enjoy Kirkman. I'll probably keep buying it until it ends, but it's good. Enjoy it.
That's good.
Sorry, I just thought I'd knock
You're
out
fine.
2 quick ones.
Oh, you're fine. Keep on going. Don, just finish them off as you
Dang it.
spread whatever virus you got.
I know, right? All right, well, I'll talk about Bang. This
Bang,
is
baby!
friggin' good.
A great fucked up blend of James Bond and Tintin?
Yeah.
Huh.
You
It was
see-
so funny.
You see who it is?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu
Well, I
Reeves.
mean, hell, that right there means I better buy it.
Quick aside, Wilfred Torres, I follow him on like Instagram, and he posted something about Bang. Some dude got on there was like, yeah, I thought it kind of was lame. I thought your art was kind of flat or nothing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, who are you?
Right?
But anyway.
Well, shut up. No, buy the
So
book.
he blocked that guy.
Right. This was good. So
You enjoyed it?
This issue was kind of spoiled for me because I
Was it a
did
great
listen-
blend of James Bond and
It's very
Tintin?
thin.
Well, I'm not big on Tintin, so I don't really know that much about Tintin, but it is very James Bondish.
Oh, is it?
Cool pen.
Okay.
Yes, it's
It's
straight.
not Kent,
it's,
though, isn't it?
It's straight James Bond. Pretty
Which
much.
doesn't surprise me.
But he's
Kent-
African American.
Kent
Right.
likes those kind of
Okay, so
spyish.
Spy,
type
he's
of
very
things. Yeah,
with the spies.
yeah,
he is.
But when
So-
you mix Boy Scouts and spies, it doesn't work.
it didn't work too.
I went I listened to a Word Balloon with Matt Kent, and they went into this first issue. So there's like at page like 5 or 6, there's like this huge thing that would have been like, holy shit!
Spoiler.
Except I already knew about it. So anyway, so basically, it's a James Bond type character, and but the deal with he goes in, he's fighting. I think they're called like Gold Maze or whatever, and the bad guys, and it's he's James Bond, he's sliding down the thing, and they're shooting at him, and he's bouncing bullets off with the briefcase, and he gets the briefcase, he escapes the bad guys, he gets to the yacht, and his love interest or whatever, Fanny I think is her name, she's waiting for him, and he's like, you're not supposed to be here, that's against protocol. And just like, and just like drops the thing, and he lays down, and she pulls out a gun and blows his head off. And that's like because it's like James Bond just got fucking killed. You're like, holy crap, this book is supposed to be, what is this book about?
What is it about, Don?
And so then,
Dang.
yeah, and so then, like, it just goes into the next page, and it's the same character's name, but it's a black guy, and he's a lot younger, and it's MI-X, which I'm assuming it's MI-10.
Okay.
Is the name of the British government, whatever. And so this guy is like,
So he's just the next
I can't remember. Yeah, he's like, but he's the same guy. He's like James Bond. I can't remember the agent's name. It's like Nord.
009?
Nord or something. I can't remember.
10.
But, no, it's not.
So is he a clone?
No, so basically, they kind of get into it a little bit, because then he's like on this mission, and he thinks he's the dude.
God.
And they're like, he thinks he's James Bond, and he goes to the bad guys, and they spray like this, they hit him with like a fear gas or something, and they're like, don't you think it's kind of weird that like you're James Bond and like you have memories of,
He keeps
fighting.
saying James Bond. His name isn't James Bond.
No, it's...
Is it? It's fine. You have to look. I just
No, I don't know his name. I think it's like Nord or something.
That's cool. All right. So.
But they're like, don't you think it's kind of odd that you have that you were fighting so and so like in the 60s, and then you have memories of fighting so and so like in the 80s, and you're like 30, and it's 2020 now, so like you weren't even born in the 60s. And so basically is what it is they bring in a new agent, and they download the memories of
the previous
agent into this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's not a per se bad guy, but he gets a hold of this guy, and he's like, I guess, breaking the cycle or whatever. So it's kind of like this program, that's what they do. They bring one of them, they die, and then they bring in a new one, and they just download all the memories of the old agent into this guy. And it's not, the imprint is not working on this agent. And that's where he kind of realizes that he's not that guy.
I should do that with engineers.
That's
I'll
where
take
it
the
ends.
imprint from one engineer and put it on the new engineer.
Right.
And then I'll have like a new engineer.
The first issue was really cool. I like the artwork, so I thought it was great.
Yeah, Wilfred Torres is great. He did the Jupiter.
He did one of the Jupiters, yeah.
Yeah. The one that was about the old guys.
Huh.
Because you remember Jupiter...
Ascending. And,
no, that's the movie.
That's a dumbass movie.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Jupiter's Legacy.
And then they did Jupiter's...
oh, God. I read them all.
Yeah, but anyway, the ones that were back in the past, Wilfred Torres, I think, did art.
Okay.
So, to give Frank quietly time to catch up.
Is that what they were doing?
Did you say you had a third to do?
Kind of. I read some of that Dynamo 5.
Dynamo 5?
I read like about the first 9 issues or so out of it.
What
now
do you think?
Got like granted, this
25.
book is like, 25 issues,
Yeah.
and then there's like even another 5 or 10 issues of other stuff. I can't even remember, or something.
What's he doing in there?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
Cool.
yeah, there's another little mini series at the end of like another 5 or
Oh,
6
yeah, that's
issues
right.
or something. Sins
Yeah,
of the
so it's like
Father.
30. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a good chunk there. So it's kind of like the first arc, and things. Okay, so when did it come out originally?
I don't know.
Was it like the early 2000s? Maybe it was mid. Huh?
Mid,
Or something?
like 2000, let's say 6. I don't know.
Okay. It's got a very... It's like on that cusp of like just after the initial... Or to me it felt like Image taking almost that next step, to some type of things, where it was, at the time Image, when it first came out, was all these superheroes and it was all these artists, and the writing sometimes was so-so, or whatever else. So this one feels like, we're going to get this writing a little bit darker, a little bit more, dark humor type of thing and whatever else. But yet we're still going to be just flashbang, lots of action, whatever the heck, type stuff. This is what it feels like to me. So it's like in this... It's almost like this strange nostalgic feel, of things, but yet trying to be on this almost little dirty edge of trying to push the envelope maybe in some ways of something.
Yeah, I think it came out about the same time as Invincible, maybe.
Did it?
The
Okay.
same kind of era when Invincible first started.
When Invincible first started.
It's probably late,
something to that effect.
And
that's where I was trying to judge, because it doesn't seem like it's like that upper tier of things to me, by any means. But yet there's still this strange, familiar fun with it, type in a way.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of those kind of really solid, kind of fun superhero books.
Yes.
And I feel like the artist who does it, he keeps getting better. He's working for Marvel now, and he's kind of at the top of his game. But that was kind of like his early stuff. You can see how he gets better and better as the series goes. He's pretty... Mahmoud Asrar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think for that, since he basically got hired to do other stuff, and so that last miniseries, I think someone else takes over, and it's not quite as awesome because his...
Were you reading it digital?
No, I've got
a
big bound book, but I didn't bring the whole damn thing because it's even thicker than freaking Black Hammer. So I was like, and I'm not done with it. I've only read like the first 9 issues out of almost 30 some. So it's like, okay, so I didn't want to bring it and tote it back home. All 5 blocks away that I live or something.
That's right.
So, but yes, it. I decided I wasn't going to bring it, but I had something else to talk about there a little bit, and at least give my 2 cents of, because I've kind of read like the first general arc, of stuff, and things, and getting the general feel, and I'm liking it, but it feels very, like I said, I don't know how to really put it.
It might have been better if you read it when it first came out.
Oh yes, by far, because
I
it
think
was probably
other books have come out
That's right.
since, like I said, I think Invincible kind of took it. And since Invincible was more successful, it kept going and kind of took it to its natural conclusion.
No, I could definitely believe that.
But,
it's fun, is the thing, but it doesn't feel like there's much substance.
I read like the first trade, I think at least, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's good, solid, fun.
I never read all of it.
Yeah.
So I still got to finish that. Anyway, we were just talking about one while you were off doing whatever you're doing.
Now what do you got?
I have Horizon. Anybody read Horizon?
I did, sort of. I don't
did?
think I finished it. But
This is by Brandon Thomas and Juan Gedeon. It's 18 issues. It was an Image series, Skybound. It didn't sell real well, so I think it ended a little prematurely. But it kind of comes to a sort of conclusion, but not really. I mean, it could definitely have gone further. He was setting a lot of stuff up. But the basic premise is...
Have you talked about this one before?
I don't think so. Maybe many
Just that cover
moons
kind of
ago.
looked,
I bought it. I don't even remember what the hell it's about.
You bought all of it? All 18 issues?
I don't know if I bought all of it. I might have stopped in the middle. But I don't remember.
Cool. So basic premise is Earth has found this other planet.
Of course.
And they have pretty much ruined Earth, kind of like today.
Right.
And they want to basically take over this other planet so they have somewhere for Earthlings to live. Well, the other planet gets wind of their incursion because they're basically trying to infiltrate this planet, and they don't like it, so they send like a task force to Earth to basically go in and basically take out the leaders of Earth and kind of counter-espionage, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So there's this team of these aliens that land on Earth, and they're basically running counter-espionage type stuff to prevent Earth from invading their planet or whatever.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it's super solid. One, getting into art, he's like a super good action dude. Like, he does some really cool action scenes. And this book is fairly action heavy. Like, there's a lot of like shooting and fighting and just, it's kind of like an action movie type thing with like a sci-fi twist or whatever. But turns out that Earth is... You wouldn't think that they would be that formidable since this other planet has all this other technology, but Earth apparently has a lot of technology that they're just not sharing with people. Like, they've learned how to, like, basically make metahumans. So they've got one guy who basically they've given him, like, telekinesis, and he's, like, one of their primary adversaries. And there's this girl. They figured out that if they take children and turn them into superheroes or metahumans, they're easier to manipulate. And so they have this girl who has this, like, giant, like, alien-looking, like, arm that's, like, all, like, veins and, like, all this stuff that they've grafted to her. And she's, like, super badass. And I find that's pretty cool. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the art is really cool. And it's really... like I say, it would have been nice if it had gone a little further. But I feel like reading it all together, it had a fairly... yeah, here she is. She's got, like, a giant... like alien-type arm.
Huh.
But, no, there's a lot going on, and there's characters, and there's a lot of inter-character, like, relationships and stuff, but yeah, like, it's, Juan Getty's got kind of like a cartoony style arm, almost, but yeah, it's very sort of actiony, dynamic, almost manga-ish in some ways, so, I don't know, it's a super fun book, and I really enjoyed it.
Beautiful.
Obviously, I enjoyed it enough to bind
Reminds me
it.
of Black Hammer.
But anyway,
No,
it's
How do you tell them
got
apart?
silver writing.
I
Black
know.
Hammer has yellow.
It does.
Gold.
It does.
So anyway, Horizon.
That's how
pretty
he
cool.
tells the difference.
I enjoyed it.
I just now got my FedEx tracking number for Starcade.
Starcade Quest. When's it coming? Friday?
It should, if all goes well.
Nice.
2 goddamn boxes.
You got all the expansions and stuff.
I did get a lot.
I just got the basic stuff.
I cannot wait.
It is nice they put it in like an actual box that has Starcade Quest on it. Like my Zombicide Invader came in like just a cardboard box.
Oh, really?
Without.
Okay. Most of them I've got in the past. Sorry to interrupt there. I've just been so excited, especially after seeing him playing it this weekend. I'm just like,
you can't open it though for like 48 hours because that coronavirus
that's right.
stays on cardboard.
Actually, I have disinfectant wipes, so I'm just going to wipe it all down. So I'll be good.
Man, I've been just playing with mine. I hope I didn't get
You
coronavirus.
probably did.
As he coughs.
You have to have a fever and aches.
I have neither of those.
Then you're good. You have to have.
I had a
Well, here's the
runny
thing.
nose and
They're
sneezing.
saying like you can
Which
have
one is
no
two of those
symptoms and
freaking
be.
allergies.
Oh, that's
They're
what I
saying
thought
you can
was
have
big
no
time.
symptoms and still have it and be contagious. So we could all have it and not even know it.
No, I understand.
But
What I
that's
don't
what they say.
understand, if it's this bad, like it's killing people, but yet all these other people walking around with like no symptoms, isn't that kind of strange? Don't viruses typically affect everybody kind of the same?
I don't know. There's something strange about this whole damn thing. It's just weird. I mean, when 80 that right now they're basically saying that 80% of the population is not really experiencing hardly anything, and then there's just 20% that's really getting hit hard with this crap.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's freaking just wild about it.
Yeah.
You know, and why it's spreading like a freaking nightmare. Mr. Allergy guy here.
Just started too.
Well, that's because you came around here. We got all those fucking white damn trees around this damn neighborhood, and those things just play hell on my damn allergies.
Gotcha.
So anyway,
I'll
tomorrow,
try to get through this. Tomorrow, issue number 1, another number 1.
Burger Books.
Yes, it's written by Peter Milligan.
I like him.
I do too. All right, so
I never buy stuff.
this book is very like.
Looks boring. I mean, seriously, it's like a guy playing like a cello and
Right.
like
End
this
of the
girl
world.
with like a
Or
tree.
is it just the beginning?
This is very now. Like this is sort of kind of like right now. Like I want to. So, all right. Here's
Is
the.
it about a pandemic?
about a pandemic?
It is. It is about a pandemic,
Wow, they hit the. Maybe it'll take off.
but it only affects old people.
Just
the
like
kids-
ours.
All the kids are fine.
Yeah. Wow, that is very now.
I know, right?
You gonna be all right,
So
old person?
I don't know. So I'm reading along.
Need some vinegar?
Maybe, I don't know. So I'm reading along, and I thought it was like a printing error because it didn't make any sense. So so this mom is driving a car and she's got her 2 kids in the back, and she's talking. She says, "Going to devices, turning off. No, can you? I thought it was like a printing error or something, right?
But she's like a robot.
I had to read it like 3 friggin' times, and then I'm like, whatever, that doesn't make any sense. So then I keep going, and she has like
Well, thank God.
she has like an attack and she
like a
crashes the
seizure.
car and then she dies and her
Oh.
husband is like, so it's a, all right, so
It's like a Disney movie.
yes, it's just like Moana or whatever.
I'll show the card.
Finding Dory, whatever.
Just name any of them. Bambi.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. So, okay, so it starts out and there's a kid and he's a twin, so he has a twin sister. And he's very into playing the, I don't know.
Pokemon.
No, it's like
Cello.
a cello, a big giant, like a
video
violin.
games.
A cello or a bass or...
Right. And so he has this audition to get into like this prestigious...
Juilliard?
It's not Juilliard, but it's like this big to-do music school. I think it's made up. I don't think it's a real place. And I
Really
don't
close
remember.
to Juilliard.
Right.
I have.
And so he's supposed to go like to do a his what do you call it? His tryout, but it's not a tryout. It's what do you call
Audition?
it? Audition. There you go.
Woohoo!
And so his sister says that she's sick, so she's not going to go with him, and so his mom goes with him, and so that sort of is like the first few pages, and then you get into this. There's a guy, and he's married to that lady, and he's like some kind of infectious disease scientist or something, and he calls her and he's like, you need to get the kids off the devices and you need to go to your mom's house and blah 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 blah. And so then she's trying to do that, and then
Get
she
into
gets
the country now.
she gets infected and she crashes the car and she ends up dying. And then so then you kind of go back and they show the guy on the airplane with his mom, and they go and he's getting ready to go in, and he goes in, and like all the three people that are in there that are supposed to be auditioning him are like laying on the floor with like blood coming out of their nose and their mouth or whatever, and then he goes back out in the hallway and his mom's dead. She's laying on the floor. And so then they flash back to that scientist guy, and they're talking about how it started. It's like a computer virus, but then it turned into
an actual
virus,
medical virus,
but it only affects adults at this point. So it's almost like what's going on now / Children of the Corn / like,
that's true.
like some techno virus thing or whatever. But so then the scientist guy is like on the phone, or he's like teleconferencing with this guy. He's like a hacker / virus guy from Russia.
Okay.
And he's telling him, hey dude, you created this virus. And he's like, well, we need to work together to try to find a cure for it.
Get rid of it.
And as that happens, like the Russian police like bust in and like arrest this guy. So they need him to help out, and then
So they got to break him out.
right, and then it just kind of goes to
And this all happens in one issue.
yeah. This all happens in one
Damn.
issue. It's
A lot of
action. It's action packed. A lot of
It
words.
is action packed.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I think I remember like reading about this, and it was kind of like, yeah, at the end of the world, and all the adults die, and then the kids are left or whatever. So that might
Sounds
have been
like a Netflix series.
what drew me to it. But it was okay. It was cool. I don't know if I kept buying these or not. Well, I buy so much new stuff. It's like every time I do my order, like I always go back and make sure that there was something. You know what I mean? Like if it's something new, like did I order this? And then I go back and try to get them all, but it could have slipped through the cracks. I don't know. But I enjoyed it. It was good. Something to check out. It's pretty timely. It's pretty like right there, timely.
Tomorrow. Or today.
Today. Yeah.
They should call it today.
Well, he does it's weird. He did.
It's not weird.
Peter Milligan did he did a forward instead of like an ending, and he was just talking about I named it Tomorrow. He's like, there's so many cool like puns that I can do with it. It's like the great thing about having a title like Tomorrow is it lends itself so easily to puns, as in the words of the old song, what will tomorrow bring? To write about tomorrow, I must go back to yesterday. See how easy the puns come? I have to go back to when I first
So
started.
now you're reading the forward to the book?
Right.
Yesterday.
Wow, that's interesting.
Talk about your Dark Knight. Talk about a bunch of words.
No
Jesus
kidding.
Christ, how the hell did you get through that?
Batman.
Your brain probably.
This is your
exploded.
flashback,
Knight
isn't it?
All that is words.
Returns. So I caught up on all my
There's a lot of
reading,
It
Well,
is.
you were just really bored and you just wanted
and I was like,
It's
you
like
know,
9-panel grids and it's all words.
it's been a long time since I read The Dark Knight Returns.
it is like the best
You
comic
can see
ever.
this crappy copy
That-
I have.
you
It's
know,
all
that
like
looks
Is
a
that
hell of
like
a
the
lot like mine.
Is that like a 12th or a 14th printing?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere up there because that looks identical to the version I got.
Does it say what print?
Which
I think it does. I think it's probably
Is
like
it 1098?
Unless you have a first, that could be worth money.
Oh, what is
It's
not?
in happy, horrible condition.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks just like mine. It's got to be like 9th or
But-
some shit.
Did you figure it out?
No,
Must be a first print.
it must be a first printing. Look at you.
Look at me.
Look at how rich you are.
Anyway, look how young Frank Miller looks on the back.
Oh,
Now, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm with you on
That dude looks like he's aged 100
He
years.
looks like that dude that played Doctor Who.
He does.
Oh,
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, a little bit.
God,
All right, Dark Knight Returns. Where to begin?
He just
All right,
needs to
so
start.
it's been a long time since I've read it. Obviously,
still
Dark
the
Knight
best
Returns
comic ever
is a
written.
classic, and it still holds up pretty well. I mean, obviously, it's been copied and imitated and everything for a long time.
34 years old.
Is it
86.
86? Yeah, 34 years.
jeez.
Not
So,
quite
yeah.
34 because it probably came out.
I did not read this when it came out because I was like 11, and I don't think I really would have appreciated it. But yeah, it is pretty dense, and I can see like why it
remember
was so
buying-
innovative because of it does. Frank Miller's very interested in the media. Like he spends a lot of time just with like the talking heads on the news, and he uses that as a very interesting narrative device.
Yeah.
And I'm not I think it's been done. I think it had been done a little bit before this. I think maybe Howard Chaykin used it in American Flag a little bit, type of thing. But, the way he did it here, and the whole like Batman being old, and the whole like old broken hero coming back. I mean, that's a trope as well.
It is,
but
in
I don't think it had
some
been done.
respects, It
in
really
this
hadn't
way.
been done in probably this way,
Superhero
and
or
one
with
of the
Batman.
major two big publishers at the
Correct.
time of DC or Marvel. To your point, what Howard Chaykin was doing was probably out there on the sidelines in some respects.
Yeah, it was through.
and things.
It was through First Comics. It wasn't
That's right.
Yeah.
mainstream.
So at the time there was some of that darkness starting to seep through into some other areas of comics and whatnot, and I feel like Alan Moore and Frank Miller brought it to a whole other level, getting into DC in particular, and kind of bringing the battered dark
Was it
hero
86?
in.
Yeah,
It's copyright 86. Was
Yeah,
it
86.
85?
I think it came out in 86,
Somewhere around
80,
in there,
to 87,
yeah.
maybe.
Okay.
But-
I remember buying, I was at Prairie Dog. It was when they were in the one by where Hobby Lobby used to be.
Yep,
Yeah.
back there in the
And
back.
going in,
back room.
and they had the display box on the counter, and they had, because that was one
I
of the
remember
very
issue
first
4 being
Prestige.
there. Yeah.
I remember I got number 1.
Oh, okay.
But I picked it up and it was like already like a second or a third
Oh,
print. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like I
yeah.
didn't, and I was like, what? I was kind of like, what is this? And I mean, I didn't buy all of them. I don't think. I think I'm still missing. I don't think I have a full
Yeah.
Full
set
run.
of the 4 issues. But
Sure.
I mean, I bought the trade. I have the absolute. I have, you know what I mean? Like I have
Yeah.
copies of
You
it.
bought
but-
the absolute?
Fuck yeah, I did.
Freaking so jealous.
That probably is a good idea because the panels are so dense,
Right?
And the writing is so
Yeah,
dense that
yeah.
the bigger and larger format would actually do it some good.
The only thing
Because
that
he
I
really packs
well,
it.
the thing that I don't have that I would really like is the artist edition of it. That would be nice.
The thing that surprised me a little bit is so the panels are so small. Sometimes the storytelling is almost hard to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really trying to push the envelope as far as
Oh yeah.
the storytelling goes with all the tiny panels and just here, Batman's on this thing, he's got a gun, and then we see blam and something shoots out, and then his foot's there, and I'm like, what is his foot doing? I thought he was shooting. And then it's blam, 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 and then he's going across, and there's a helicopter, and he's falling, and he got shot. I'm like, what happened there? You know what I mean? He's standing on this gargoyle, he's got the gun.
It doesn't really matter.
I mean, it's cool, but I mean, I'm like, I'm not 100% sure what Frank Miller was trying to communicate there. You know what I mean?
He's just trying to show.
But then there's the
action
awesome,
scene
like,
and-
iconic
yeah.
splash page or whatever that you remember, you know, and it's like...
And the Joker, the crick, 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 crick. When
Oh,
the Joker snaps his
yeah.
own neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the freaking little batarangs. just
The
move
David
over.
Letterman.
The David Letterman, where he floats his
Yeah.
freaking crazy ass floating poison dolls around.
Yeah,
And,
it's almost that this book has been so many times imitated and like inspired so much stuff since then. You go back and you're like, it loses impact just because it's been so diluted through the years from people copying it. You know what I mean?
I can believe that.
So it's interesting because like
I
so
mean-
much of like Nolan's Batman and Tim Burton's Batman, they all borrowed stuff
Oh,
from
yeah.
this. You know what I mean?
Well, Batman versus Superman, that piece.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Shit.
There's so many things that have like
Yeah,
been
exactly.
inspired or
Straight
like
out of-
stole little pieces of this. You know.
But, what was I gonna...
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Well, I was gonna say, like, some comic book company, like, in the previews, I can't even remember what they're called, but they're doing, like, the real Conan.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
And-
Ablaze.
The second issue, they have a variant cover, and it's an
Homage to
homage
Dark
to
Knight.
this. It's a
Oh,
Conan
it
book
is.
with that
Yeah.
cover right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap! 30, whatever we just said, 34 years later, and they're still
It's just so
homaging the
iconic.
cover.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
even what is it? The little bully gang or whatever. The big beast
Uh-huh,
guy or
yeah.
whatever that he fights. That guy even has a freaking Lego of himself that
yeah.
they even threw in like the Lego movie, or the Lego
Right.
Batman movie, and
Yeah.
things. I just remember seeing that and going, "That's from the Dark Knight."
Yeah.
She never showed that guy never showed up in anything
Yeah.
else.
What are they? They're
So-
the Nazis.
The mutants.
The mutants.
The mutants.
yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So,
Did go ahead.
I didn't have anything to say. But yeah, I thought I would have more to say about this, but I think I said most of what I wanted to say. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. And like the narration and the voice that he gives Batman is kind of unique.
It still holds up though.
It holds up fine. Yeah. It's just I forgot how dense it is. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
how
God.
the small panels.
I
And
tell you what, my favorite thing is the fight. Okay, so here's my thing. I was probably, I don't know, teenager, early teenage years when I read this dang thing. And that fight between Batman and Superman at the end just freaking still just gets my blood boiling, running or whatever else. I mean, because to me, it's like one of the greatest fights, of superheroes of all time, in its own way, with just this regular, sharp, intelligent man just beating down the strongest superhero we ever, knew, type things. And he does it so well, and with the narration that he has in there and everything, it just pulled me so much in. And I mean, I can remember individual, panels and everything else from that and things going on. And that's maybe one of the reasons why I hate Batman versus Superman so much, because to me, The Dark Knight Returns, that was like the climax of the book itself anyway. And to me, that was such a great, ending of everything, was him coming together and just that line where he says, "I want you to remember the man that beat you," and
Right.
stuff, as he's just pounding on him. I just thought was just so great. And I had not ever seen that ever done at the time. Now they've done different things, since then, of battles between superheroes and whatever the hell else. But that alone, where you had this guy that should not be kicking the ass of the strongest superhero, just showing what he could do, I thought was just to a whole nother level.
And I think that was the first time where that Batman trope of Batman being so smart he can outsmart anybody
Right.
and like he can take on anybody, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of, that's when Batman sort of, and now all the other writers have taken that same
Right.
thing and like ran with it and like taken it to ridiculous levels.
Well, that's true too.
And
yeah.
but I think he was the first one that kind of did that. Like before that, Batman, no one would have even thought about Batman taking on Wonder Woman or
Yeah.
Flash or anybody. Batman was just a smart detective guy who fought crime on the streets of Gotham and fought like normal
and
criminals.
he fought all
you
these
know?
criminals, yeah.
But yeah, this was the first time where they, and then Grant Morrison took it, and all the other Batman writers since him have kind of taken that to like almost a ridiculous
Was that
level.
who was it that did? Oh God, it was Meltzer, wasn't it?
Brad Meltzer, yeah.
That did the one with the Plastic Man where he was the murderer.
Oh,
or whatever,
yeah. Identity Crisis.
Identity Crisis, and that might have been the first time. Well, maybe not, but yeah, it was like Batman has a plan to take out every Justice League member. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
Did Grant Morrison?
I think
do
Grant
that?
Morrison in that JLA book.
Yeah, he
made,
did do.
He had like when the Martians came over, Batman was a guy who had the plan and knew the
Right.
fire weakness and kind of saved the day. You know,
But-
so I mean, and Grant Morrison through all his Batman run, Batman was always that kind of
Right,
trope.
but Identity
you know?
Crisis was because that was like the big thing. All the heroes, like the Justice
Yeah.
League, were like pissed off. They're like, "Oh my god, you have a plan to like take us all out?" You know,
Correct.
and that
yeah,
was like
and that's
the big
correct. But I feel like all that
identity
came
crisis.
from
Well,
From
yeah,
what he did.
from
you're
Frank
right.
Miller showing
Yeah.
how Batman can plan and beat Superman.
right.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I would tend to agree.
Does
I
that
mean,
have the like a forward or a back matter? Does it have because
No, this is like the very
That's
first
just-
thing. It's got like I mean I don't even think there's a foreword by Alan Moore
oh okay so like in the
written in 1986.
in the either the copy that I have or it might even be in the I think it's in the trade because the first time I read the trade I had like a 14th printing or whatever and it had like an afterword and Frank Miller was saying that he got the idea for the Dark Knight because he was like he actually did the math and he figured out that like he was the same age or older than Batman
Batman.
and he's like what the hell? He's like, I'm gonna turn him into an old freaking man and just beat the shit out of him because it pisses me off that I'm older than Batman. Whatever. But it was in maybe the copy of the trade that I had or something.
Yeah.
That was a funny story. I mean, that's where he came up with it. He's like, I'm older than Batman. He's like, no, that can't happen. I'm gonna turn him into an old man. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh heck yeah!
But
Well, it's funny because in the very back, like there's no thing, but it says with the acknowledgments of the works of Bill Finger and Dave Fleischer, Max Fleischer, Jerry Robinson, Joe Shuster, Jerry Siegel, Dick Sprang, and then Batman created by Bob Kane. So he gives Bob Kane no credit except the credit that he has to have.
yeah. Right. That's awesome.
So yeah, did you have something else?
I have one more.
All right,
What
let me
do
talk
you wanna
about
do?
DK2 now.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead. Just
Or
roll
wait.
it. This won't
Uh,
take long.
So after you read Dark Knight Returns, you have to read DK2.
Why?
Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Because you have to remember how not as good it is.
It's
just
just so bizarre.
Yeah, it's,
Okay,
there
it's
you
not.
go.
so
That's
it's
more
not
the case.
bad.
It's not
just
awful.
crazy.
It's
It's
so
just
different.
odd.
It's a money. It was a money grab.
I don't think it was. I mean, I'm
No,
sure the
it
money was
was.
part of it, but so I was trying to figure out, like, okay, Frank Miller. I'm trying to figure out what works existed in between these two, right? And so I was doing the math. Okay, so Frank Miller did this. He did year one. Then he started doing some of his
He
Dark
probably
Horse stuff,
started doing
where he
sort
did
of
like
Sin
Hard Boiled. Started working with
City,
other artists. You know,
300,
Hard Boiled. He did
and-
Electro Assassin. You know, and then he did Sin City. That was the major one.
Yeah.
You know,
Electro Assassin was the same time as this.
it was a little bit after, I think, but maybe it was the same.
You were the one that was saying there was like some Facebook post where it was like Dark Knight
Oh,
Returns,
yeah, okay, it was-
Watchmen,
it's probably
and
the same
Electro
time.
Assassin all came out in the same
Yeah,
freaking
I
year.
think that's true. You're right. But so I'm just saying. So Sin City was the major one.
Or no, Daredevil. It was the Kill. Born to Kill, or
Doesn't matter.
anyway.
Focus. All right.
Focus.
So he did
Well, that
Sin
could-
City. The first Sin City doesn't feel that different than this style. Like, you know, like this drawing similar. But then as the Sin Cities went on, they got kind of crazier and the art kind of changed a little bit. And then he did 300, which I think was before this. And 300 kind of, he did big panels. Because if you look at all the tiny panels, but then
I
you
know.
look at DK2,
It's all
it's all giant
all
panels.
huge.
it's like splash
It
pages.
is.
And, you know, and the coloring is all computer. It's like Lynn Varley found out about computer coloring and just kind of tried to do some interesting stuff and everything just... And I mean, part of it is because this is all about him basically getting Justice League back together, right? If you look at it, it's really not a Dark Knight book. It's more of a Justice League
It is
book,
more of a
you know,
Justice
because they
League
rescue the Atom and then the Flash.
Yes, exactly.
He kind of takes the world back, you
And
know.
he's
and
taking it back,
everything.
and Lex Luthor is the big.
And
bad
so I
deal.
guess if you think of Batman like grim and gritty, small, tiny panels make sense. If you think about the Justice League, kind of big and more kind of flamboyant, maybe bigger panels, you know, more color, splash, and all that. I mean, maybe it makes sense thematically, you know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's it's funny because I read that Dark Knight 3, and I hadn't read either of these for whenever since this came out, or maybe 10, 15 years. But he plants all the seeds for his daughter with Wonder Woman. I forgot all that about Kandor's all planted in here.
Well, hell, he plants that though somewhere in there, doesn't he?
No, I don't think much of that.
I
didn't remember much of Kandor or Wonder Woman
but I
or
thought
a daughter.
Wonder Woman and
Superman having a
Superman
daughter. There might have been a few hints or whatever, but he really
of
obviously
those two.
goes into it here or whatever. But
yeah, and there he goes into it more. But I thought there was some reference to Wonder Woman and Superman.
But yeah, rereading DK2, I see its strengths. It's just I definitely enjoy the older Frank Miller, smaller panels, tighter penciling type stuff than his newer style. I think that's what it comes down to. From an artistic standpoint, I enjoy it. But I
agree with you. I did not feel like the art and
the writing
DK2 was quite as strong. It's got the bigger panels, so there's some of that.
Well, and with
you're
this
right.
one, you have
that one, The Dark Knight Returns. It's all Batman. It's pretty focused on that. Whereas this, to your point, is more of the Justice League, and quite frankly, DK3 is almost more of a Superman, Wonder Woman type thing. Yeah.
And so it's just a lot more diluted. It's not that grim and gritty Batman as much. And one of the cool things about Dark Knight was the voice of Batman, where he's talking. Right. He has those great quotes and all that.
Exactly.
And you don't get as much of that here. He kind of spreads out the narrative between a lot of different characters, and they're all a lot bigger, larger than life. So it's okay. Like I said, go back and reread it. It's fairly enjoyable, especially if you like Frank Miller.
Yes.
And if you especially like his newer stuff, it's pretty good.
I remember not liking Dark Knight 2 when it first came out.
It's because it's not this.
It's not that. That's right.
But then I went back and reread it because I think the Absolute collects both.
Yeah,
the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight 2. And so I reread it. And I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it when it came out, but I disliked it less when I reread it.
It's not as
later.
Once you change your expectations, it's
well. That's right, and it's not as dense as that.
No.
There was a hell of a lot of story in that Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah. Well, and
that's
you got 4. That's only 3.
That's here.
But let me say, you only have 3 here.
Well, hold on. These are 48 issues apiece, right?
48 pages.
These are 80 apiece. This may actually be longer.
It could be, and
but
it just doesn't feel as much.
It doesn't feel as much because the panels are bigger, and
that's right.
And some of it's just simplistic, too.
Yeah, it's simplistic.
That panel that
he spends a lot of time with those, news girls who are, nude in the news. And so, and it's almost like he took all the, sex of Sin City and is trying to cram it into DK2 a little bit,
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't really fit. And it's just kind of I don't know.
And I think that was the biggest thing that I had difference between the two. I felt like there was so much story packed in The Dark Knight Returns that this one is just pretty much a one-trick pony in some respects, and DK2.
There's not as much to it.
Yeah. But to your point, it's not bad. And I in some cases, I don't feel like his art maybe is as strong either.
It's not.
It's just different.
A different style.
And I don't like the style as much.
I don't
either.
and that's what he's gone to after that.
This has a lot of tiny lines. It's kind of scraggly, but then you look at this, it's a bunch of big lines, and it's not scraggly, and it's kind of simpler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just what he's going for, and that's fine. He's changed it. And that, he does that where inking just kind of where he just looks like he's just smearing ink everywhere, and it's it's just not as clean,
Yeah.
And I know Jansen inked some of this, but I know he went back and inked some of it over Jansen.
Doesn't he spend a lot of time in there too, between the Superman Wonder Woman relationship? And
that's what I mean. It's really focused on them and their daughter a little bit, and then freeing the Justice League and just kind of getting the band back together.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't have the same impact.
Yeah.
The story beats aren't quite as strong. It's just.
But as a Justice League type of story, it's in a what if or futuristic type thing. It's not bad.
Not bad. It's fun.
That's right. I would agree with that.
But
it's just that build up of something that trying to build upon something that was so strong it's damn near impossible.
Yeah, and the fact that he tried to do something different, and his art is so much different by this point. Even
what's the difference in time between that? Did you mention it?
I think 14 years.
14 years.
I think that came out in 2000, 2001. So.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's 2000.
God.
So it's not...
Boy, don't I feel
2001, 15 years. Because that was 86.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
2000. But still, that's 19 years ago now. I just think that it wasn't that long ago that I
Yeah, I
picked
thought
up
it
that.
came out even earlier. It was when I said 2001.
Oh,
So
really?
I
thought it was even
so I was
later
like,
than that.
I was out of college. It seemed like I was reading this in college, but no, this was
See?
like after
Well,
college.
that makes sense. 15 years. 15-year anniversary.
Yeah.
They're like, let's do it. They finally threw enough money at him.
Yeah.
Because I remember at the time, it was like $1 or $2 million that he got paid to like
Yeah,
do
something
Dark
like
Knight,
that.
and it was like an insane amount of money for comic books. Like,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they made money. I mean,
I'm sure
they're
they
still
sold it by the
selling it now.
frickin'
They're just wrapping
tons.
up with the Absolute with the first one. They sell it, all together.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's funny. I was thinking the same thing. It's only 3 issues. That's why it's so simpler. And I'm like, wait, these things are like 80 pages a piece. It's like it's almost longer. Like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
yeah, but I bet you get more panels and.
Oh yeah, no,
in the
definitely.
first one.
Way more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just denser story.
That's the big thing. I mean, you read through Dark Knight Returns, and I mean, you are dealing with 4 individual stories throughout that whole thing.
Yeah, it
right?
just feels like more like one big story.
And that
too.
feels like one big story. That's right.
That's another good point. That's a difference in the pacing and and a lot of it just feels like he's cramming stuff in. Like Big Bart is in like one panel. It's like, I just want to get
Yes.
Big Bart in there. It's like,
Yep.
okay.
Did you see the commission that Kelly posted for the Miracle Man?
Oh yes, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
All right, we got one left on Tartarus.
Tartarus. You didn't buy Tartarus?
I didn't. I was kind of on the fence, but then I decided. Last thing Johnny Christmas did, I didn't really love.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying
Being
not.
an artist? He's mostly known for art.
He might be.
Because he did that. What's the book? They have an ad for it in the back of this, obviously, but the one with the kids, or where they hole up in the trailer park. Sheltered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did the art in that.
I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Tartarus.
It looked kind of interesting.
It was $6. It's super thick.
Oh,
I
it's
think it's like
$6?
2 issues because
Wow.
it's like part 1, book 1, and book 2.
It's
So
a bold
like,
move.
book 1 is like set up, and then 2 is where you get the shocking reveal.
Of course.
But so
That's really cool.
it's world building. So like there's these 2 planets, and they're at war. And so the first book starts out, there's a prison on the Tartarus planet, I think. Well, Tartarus is basically like it's a mining planet, but it's in one of the systems.
The 9th moon of Endor.
Right, it's the 9th moon of Endor. But there's a map, there's like a solar map at the beginning that shows you which planets. There's like a Braxton planet, and then there's like another one, and they're at war. But so there's this big, huge prison, like underground prison. And this badass, notorious, evil villain lady, she breaks out of prison, and it's buried, so it's got like 9 levels and like all the security. And so like she breaks out, and they're like monitoring her, and like, oh, she's on level 8 now. They're like, we gotta stop her, shoot her, and she keeps coming. They're like, oh, she's on level 5 now, we gotta get her. And anyway, she makes it all the way up to the top. They blow the roof off of the friggin' prison, blah blah blah, and she's like out in the streets, and the people because she was like one of the leaders, or like I can't remember what they call her, but she was like high up in the chain or whatever of this other planet in the war. And so like her people come to meet her, like 4 or 5 people come to meet her, and one of the ladies comes up, she's like, oh, it's your baby, here's your baby, blah blah blah. And she's like holding her baby, and then one of the guards or whatever, someone comes up to him, and they're a ways away, and they're like, here, use this weapon. They're like, you can take the shot, and you'll be the hero, you'll take her out. And they're like, okay. And so they grab the gun, and they get ready to shoot, and somebody else is like, no, don't do that. And like they shoot, and it's like this huge explosion that kills like all these people or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a normal gun. It's like almost like it's like a Kira, the bubble or whatever, you know.
Atomic bomb.
Right.
That's what I need to reread.
Huh? Yeah. And so then that's the end of like book 1. And then you jump, and so then you're reading, and it's like 17, 18 years in the future now, and they're on this planet. And you figure it out fairly quickly, but the baby that was her baby is now an 17, 18-year-old kid. And then they're doing this story where there's like these 3 cadets that are in like the military or whatever, and she's one of them. And so she got like her 3 buddies, and they're getting ready to go on leave, and she's like, well, I've got to go back to the farm, my grandma's sick and she's dying, she's got some kind of lung disease or something. And one of her buddies is like, well, they're like, you know, you can just make her a new lung and take it to her. I guess they have that technology or whatever, you know. And she's like, well, she's really anti-government and she hates this. And they're like, she's going to die because she doesn't like the war or whatever. They're like, well, you got the same DNA. They're like, well, why don't you just go to med lab, have them make you a lung, and then you can take it to her and give it to her, and then she'll be fine. And so anyway, she goes to the med lab, and they do the thing, and they're like, your DNA doesn't match up to your grandma's DNA. It's just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Run the test again or whatever. They're like, yeah, no, it don't match up. Like, something's going fishy here. And at this point, there's like the leader. This planet, this Tartarus planet, it's like a mining place, but they mine like, it's like a liquid. It's something weird. But so they actually, like, she runs the DNA, and like all the flashing lights go off, and they're like, you know, danger, danger, danger. And they come down and like grab both of them, and they rush her up to the leader or whatever, and he's sitting there, and he's like, so now you know who you are. She's the daughter of it. And he's like, so are you loyal to Braxton? She's like, yeah, of course. And he's like, well, then you know what you have to do. And he pulls out like this sword. He's like, you have to kill yourself now because you're the enemy, and you know you're the enemy, and we can never trust you. And she's like, well, I'm not gonna do that. And then like something goes, like a bomb goes off and blows this liquid whatever everywhere, and so then she bursts out of it. And so like she's apparently supposed to be like the lady that like helps the, you know what I mean, like that's how it ends. And so like she was gonna kill herself, but she's like, she says something like, well, I could kill myself, but I have a better idea or whatever, a better plan. And you think she's gonna kill him, but then she's actually coming out, and that's how it ends. So that's the first issue. It is kind of all set up, and I don't really know where it's going, but
You like it?
yeah, it was cool. I mean, the art's okay. I mean, yeah, it's worth trying, you know. And then at the end, of course, he has the afterword, and he's like, oh, we've been making this book for like 5 years.
Everybody says that. It takes like 5 years.
It takes 5 years to make it, and we talked about it and batted around ideas, and this is our love letter. Like, we're going to combine, you know, all the cool sci-fi like Star Wars and Blade Runner. And I think you might even mention Akira in there or something. And then he's like, and fairy tale, like we're gonna have like fairy tales in it. So this is gonna be like a cool, crazy ride. You know?
And then it doesn't sell. It'll be like 5 issues. It doesn't sell.
It'll be 5 issues, but
Yeah,
no, it was good. It was interesting. Like, you know, I guess it's probably not different, but it seemed different. Like it wasn't something that I just read. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but anyway, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've been buying these.
Longest review ever.
Right? Well, it was a double-sized issue.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Now you don't have to read it.
We can do that at the beginning of the podcast.
I know Scott's over there like packing up. Like
Scott's like all the stuff packed up. Cool, yeah, that's good, man. Yeah.
He's like, cool, all right, I'll see you later. You ain't got nothing to do. You have to go to work or anything.
All right.
What are you talking
Thanks
about?
for listening, everybody. Signing off. Don't get sick.
That's right.
Social
Stay healthy.
distancing.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Be a good citizen. Bye.